Great googly moogly. It is time. What are you laughing about? It's time for episode
Your gluteus
11.
maximus.
Whoa, that was quick.
It's time for episode 11, everyone. I don't know why they're talking about gluteus maximuses, but hello. How's it going, everyone? We are back. We are on a Sunday. The original panel is here again. It's like old times again. That's great. And hopefully we'll have a very shorter episode for you all to listen to, all of our faithful and amazing listeners out there, whether you're checking us out on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. And I will tell you now, there have been some rumors and maybe some thought going into maybe starting to put these episodes out on iHeartRadio as well. So we'll be looking into that to maybe try to put that out if that's even possible. I know nothing about it. So just to give you a little heads up on that for those of you that kind of use that app as well. We're trying to expand and get out there as much as we can. But yeah, we have this should be a little bit of a shorter show this time. Definitely not a 36 what was it 36-minute tangent on the new Resident Evil, Zach Kreger's Resident Evil movie this time around. So nothing to worry about there.
I mean, we could talk about it if you want to again.
I think I got it all out of my system on episode 10. So I think we're good.
Okay.
I think we're good. But to make up for that, what we do have here in our intro part, we'll go ahead and do the giveaway first and then do bring your table. We have the official result and the finale of our Bubsy 4D giveaway that we've been talking about for the past month. And we are going to reveal the winner right here in this drawing for Bubsy 4D. Thank you to everybody that applied and replied in the comments wherever you're listening to us from here to enter that giveaway. Of course, we did Pragmata the month before. Fuse for Spence won that. And now let's find out who won the Bubsy 40 giveaway and also some news about our next giveaway. For that, I'll send it over to Raji.
All right. So this month's giveaway is a little different. Last month I did a wheel spin. This time we are going to be doing a random.org list drawing, which I believe is how you do some giveaways, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We have 4 entries between 2 different people. So one person literally has a 75% chance to win this giveaway. One person, 25%. I'm not going to get into my Steiner math. It's going to get confusing. We're going to draw it. I'm going to take a screenshot and we're going to post it. If you're in our Discord, it's going to be on the Toe Talk podcast channel. And the winner is, oh my God, the person with only one entry in the giveaway has won. Feats Pete's game has won our Bubsy 4D giveaway with only one entry in the giveaway. Zozakin had 3 and still cannot beat Feats. So
wow.
Congratulations, Pete.
You had a 25% chance of winning any one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. As for what the next giveaway is going to be, this is going to be next month, this in June, end of June giveaway. It's going to be for Star Fox on the Switch too.
Oh, that's big. That's big. By the way, has anyone ever told you, and if they haven't, let me be the first, thank you for doing this for the podcast, because this is all out of his own ingenuity. We don't know anything. Me and Grem don't know anything about this. He's just bringing this up as we go here. So thank you, Raji.
Every month.
Yes, thank you, Raji.
All right, you heard that the new Star Fox, and it's Star Fox. It's a remake, right?
It's the N64 reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it. But it's just Star Fox on the Switch 2. Comes out June 25th. And I'll go ahead and just tell you when we're going to announce the winner. It's going to be the episode that we record on the 21st of June.
Okay. And let's also put a reminder that we actually need to look at that trailer. We were going to do it last episode, but we couldn't find a trailer that was any shorter than like 25 minutes. So if we can find a trailer that's a short and to the point trailer for that, we'll definitely talk about that. But we haven't yet. That reminded me of that.
And of course, with every giveaway, we have to do our keyword. And this week's keyword, again, it's going to work like every time, or work like last time. Every week will be a different keyword that gives you one separate entry into the giveaway. Zozakin took advantage of that. Unfortunately, did not pay off for him this month. But this week's keyword is #FoxMcCloud.
#FoxMcCloud on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Put those hashtags in the comments. Each one you do for each platform does count as an extra entry. So get those comments started, everybody. Get them posted in there. All right. Well, that will do it for that. Hopefully we get I feel like we're going to get a big amount of people entering into that. That's pretty big news there.
Let's hope.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I said bring your table earlier. I'm not the Dudley Boys, but we are going to do the bring your own news tables segment here, which is one of my favorite things to do here on the podcast and always the thing we start off with. I will start things off because today, May 17th is in fact the 17-year-ago birthday of Minecraft. The best-selling video game of all time was released Minecraft, and I just wanted to bring that to the table here. Actually, some special mentions, in fact, as for May 17th as well, that I want to bring to attention for some other video games. LA Noire was also released on this day 15 years ago. So it's hard to believe that Minecraft came out, then 2 years later, LA Noire came out. That's just absolutely wild. And then there was another game that had a birthday today, and that is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity for the Nintendo 3DS was released on this date 13 years ago. That was 2013. Does anyone feel old yet? But yeah, specifically the Minecraft is obviously the big one. And I talked about the Minecraft thing, I think back when we were doing our own Q&A here on the podcast. But my biggest, I'll pass this around to everybody actually to give their quick thoughts about what what is the first thing you think of when it's about you playing Minecraft. And me, I'll just go real quickly back to when we did the giant Croakitoad community get together. There was like anywhere between like 6 up to like almost 20 of us just playing the regular Minecraft mode, just survival. We worked our way, built our way, and got to the Ender Dragon at the end and took down the Ender Dragon together as a Croakitoad community live on our Twitch channel. And that was super awesome. I'll never forget that. And it was one of my favorite moments as a community, being a gamer and a streamer. But I'll send it over to Raji. What's the first thing that you think about for Minecraft as a player playing the game since it's its 17th birthday today?
Just making a bunch of pixel art. I think a lot of people, especially early on when survival wasn't really fun per se, I think a lot of people liked creative and just building random massive projects and pixel art like Mega Man and stuff like that. I think back in the day we all played together and we had one server that was just nothing but pixel art and just random projects, and that's just what I remember. It's just logging on and figuring out what you're going to build today, plug it into a website, and then copy it from the website into the actual game. And yeah,
pixel art is definitely a big thing. I got suckered into that too, and it was a lot of fun to do pixel art stuff. Grem, what are your thoughts first? Just being a player in Minecraft, experiencing Minecraft, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Probably the time that I knocked you off the bridge or something.
Really, of all the things, that's the first thing that you think of?
Yeah, I mean, it's only fresh in my mind. Like, it started in Mountain Pass, and it's kind of evolved throughout the years, and
You know what's hilarious? You get knocked off top of a lot of things, Ted.
Yes, and we'll get into that a little bit later on our podcast. But yes, I seem to get kicked, thrown, shoved, pushed, shot, stabbed, and everything off of very high obstacles throughout my gaming career.
Where did it start? Did it start with Left 4 Dead?
No.
Or was it Minecraft that started the
whole
trend?
No,
it was Killing Floor.
It was Killing Floor, the original.
Oh, that's right.
Mountain Pass.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, I seem to be the punching bag for getting knocked off very high obstacles while everyone laughs.
Very throwable. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
yeah. Well, I'm glad that I could be your pinnacle moment when you think of Minecraft. I'm very appreciative of that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Well,
happy. A short time coming.
Not even funny. Happy birthday to Minecraft 17 years ago today. Don't we all feel old? We all do. Minecraft 17 years old. LA Noire, happy birthday to you. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, happy birthday to you as well. But that's what I wanted to bring to the table this week. For the rest of them, I'll send it over to Raji. What you got for us?
That's hilarious because I just realized I was 17 years old when Minecraft came out. So, and I'm 34 now. Yeah. There's this. I didn't know if we wanted to watch a trailer because this movie is technically already out, and I honestly don't remember if we talked about this. But I did have a movie catch my eye that I want to talk about. We don't have to watch the trailer or nothing, but it's called. We may have talked about this. Please fact check me if I did. If we did, but it's Hokum. Has anyone heard of the movie Hokum? That's currently out in theaters.
Oh, is that the horror one with Adam Scott? Is that his name?
Yes, Adam Scott. That everyone is comparing it to Silent Hill.
I did not. We have not actually covered that movie yet. But because you brought it up, maybe we can slap it onto next week's.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it next week. I just wanted to bring up that this is getting a lot of traction. Saying that it is like it's like a Silent Hill movie but good. And we all know how we felt about the second Silent Hill movie.
Or even the one earlier this year.
Well, that's what I meant. Sorry, I guess it'd been the third Silent Hill movie. I forgot about the actual second one. But yeah, I just saw gaining traction. People are liking it. It's currently got a Rotten Tomato score of 89%. IMDb gave it a 7.3 out of 10. Fandango, whatever you want to call it, 83%. So, looks like a very good horror movie that we should take a visit and look at next week.
Yeah. All right. If you'll remind me or just post a note in the Discord now, we'll just go ahead and slap it in there now so we don't forget about it. I actually wanted to take a look at that trailer, but it came at a time where we had so many different movies and stuff stacked that it just kind of got bypassed. But we'll definitely take a close look at that, even though it is already out. And because it is already out, I might actually go see it myself because I was interested in seeing it. All right, Grem, what do you got for us this time for episode 11 of Bring Your Own News?
I know we're gonna talk about it a little bit later, but Game 7, I'm hyped and ready. I know one of them's going on right now. There's another one tomorrow in hockey. I'm like in my sports world. Yesterday in the UFL, the Kings won, so they're now 4-4. So they might be getting a playoff berth, So right now for me it's all sports right now. But Game 7's, like I said, tonight and tomorrow. Very, very cool, very fun.
Well, since you're already talking about it, do you just want to do two birds, one stone? Just go through it now while we're here.
No, we can go and do our normal, and then we'll just go. We'll kind of keep everything as normal so our listeners don't get confused.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that'll be Bring Your Own News. We're going to switch over to movies now. We have 1, 2, 3, or not movies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 pieces of game news to talk about. We have 3 trailers basically. So we'll get right into this. The first one we have coming up here is from May 12th. So about a week ago from officially from IGN. It's called Polyaris. I've never seen this trailer. We're going to take a look at it for the first time here. See what it's about.
Might save my life, this.
All right, that trailer was called Polyaris. I'm butchering this. I'm trying to say it the best I can, but it looks like the demo has launched as of May 12th. It's coming soon to PC, Steam, and the brief synopsis is that players will find themselves stranded on the border of Norway and Russia as an engineer after a nuclear blast leaves an aftermath that stalks their every move. Scavenge for supplies, keep warm with found clothes, and fight to seek the truth, the deep mystery, escape the frozen lands. So it's definitely you got yourselves a first-person adventure here. you're basically stranded in a very icy tundra looking area. It looks like there's been a nuclear blast that has kind of ravaged the land, almost kind of like a Norway / Russia / Fallout kind of deal going on here. Very looks like it could be open world. It does say open world survival. So whether or not it has multiplayer or it's just a single player, I don't know. It doesn't really say that. It just says first person. So looks very interesting. A lot of people do love that post-apocalyptic style in video games, whether it be first person or third person. I mean, Fallout is still the king, I would say, but there's a lot of games out there that love to do their own spin-off on that, especially ones that's taking place in like an area of like Norway and Russia. You don't really see a whole lot of that. You know, obviously people probably think Metro first thing on that, but this is a really cool spin on the post-apocalyptic, if I can say it, style of game here. Exploration, crafting, trying to survive the elements and the other things that are going to get you. It looks like there is gunplay. You know, you can shoot, defend yourself, and things like that. Lots of Arctic wolves and whatnot, among many other things, I'm sure. But yeah, this is a really fun game for those that probably looking for something extra, that got their Fallout feel and maybe looking for something else. I think this looks pretty cool. Definitely scratches that post-apocalyptic itch for sure. Raji, what do you think about this one? Does it look good at all to you, or is it a pass?
Yeah, Polaris. I've been keeping an eye on for a while.
Polaris. Okay.
Yeah, Polaris. So if you've ever played like The Long Dark, The Long Drive, The Forest, Sons of the Forest, even DayZ, you're gonna love this game. I haven't yet. I forgot the demo even came out. That shot right there, that medical kit, just reminds me of the basic med kit in Tarkov, and then I've put it together like, oh, it's because Russia. So I wonder if it's a region Russia first aid kit kind of thing, because that's the only time I see these orange little boxes of med kits is Russian related. So that's pretty cool to see that still part of it. One thing that really irritated me about this trailer, and I don't know what it is about people who put these trailers out, they are the absolute worst at aiming a gun at a target. I mean, absolutely the worst. I don't know. I know they're just doing it for the trailer, but like right here, after they turn to aim, it's like how crappy. Like, dude, it's horrible. Even whenever they make live game announcements on stage, and they supposedly are playing the game, they're horrible aiming there too. It's like it's not that hard. And I'm not trying to be an egotistical person here. I'm just saying aiming in games is not that difficult. Not as difficult as they're making it seem, anyways.
I think maybe what it is they're just like trying to capture the action and not do like very frantic swerve over to aim, so you can actually see with as clear and smooth pixels as possible what's coming for the. But yeah, I agree. It's like, why are you aimed like 3 feet over?
Yeah.
All right, Grem, what do you think about this?
To kind of touch base a little bit too, I think sometimes too they also do that is like you saw those like ads where they try to save some person and you have to match the colors or something stupid like that, and they can't do it, and they're like, oh, can you do better? It might be something like that too, where it's one of those things where they're just trying to show it off, but it's probably what Tad was saying. They want to capture not only what could happen, because I mean, if they killed everything, you couldn't tell like a wolf can actually like jump on you. Also, I thought was kind of neat the skiing aspect was new as well. We touched about that with Subnautical 2 last week about this underwater ocean, how that's kind of like untapped and everything. I want to say I don't really recall many games that will allow you just to kind of ski, so that could be another thing too. A lot of people are like, oh, snowboarding is the way to go and everything. So I thought it was kind of neat to have like a different kind of mode, or like snowmobiles, different kind of mode to transfer or transport yourself. Excuse me, around. So I thought that was kind of neat. The game looks really good though. I love like snow. So seeing like the shadows, how that looked on the snow, and then like how it was at nighttime and everything. The game looks really, really beautiful graphics wise. Definitely worth trying out if nothing else.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I can't think of too many games where you go around traversing the video gaming world while you're on skis. So yeah, Frank, a good point there. Okay, moving on. Our next game we're going to be talking about is Directive 8020, and I know of somebody here in the Croakitoad community. In fact, it was our Bubsy 4D winner, Feet Speeds Games from Twitch, who was giving this game a lot of high praise. I guess he's already been playing it. And yeah, it's available now. Okay, just fact checking myself, but yeah, he said that he really enjoyed this one and actually recommended it to me. I've not actually I might have seen the trailer in passing and just forgot I did, but we're going to take a look at it nevertheless here and see what Directive 8020 is about.
Peggy 18.
You gotta bring the nose up.
7 clicks.
We're too far now.
We have crash landed in the Burnell quadrant of Tau Ceti F.
Our only option now is to hold out until the Andromeda arrives.
We have no way to contact the Andromeda or Earth.
What is that?
Who's there? Take it slow.
You gotta let me in. Please.
Is that you, Cooper?
Anders.
Why is no one talking?
Okay. Back up, now. Sure, man.
This ship is infected with an alien organism. For all we know, it could be in our own bloodstreams by now. Directive 8020 states, the Earth must be protected.
Okay, immediately I remembered this trailer. I think it was the Game Awards. Our boy Jeff revealed this at that event back in late 2025 is, I believe, when the Game Awards happens. But I remember seeing this trailer and was immediately fascinated by it. I'm a huge fan of The Thing. I absolutely adore that movie. I played the games, gotten all the achievements in the remastered, and this game looks just like, maybe obviously not one for one, but definitely like definitely a big inspiration from The Thing, and I absolutely love it. I've been waiting for some more Thing content, media to come out, whether it's movie or game, but this definitely scratches that itch for me. And as well, it's a Dark Pictures game, so they definitely have their own reputation going into this. A lot of people seem to really enjoy those style of games, whether it be Man of Medan or Little Hope or whatever, and very narrative driven story, player choice kind of style game there, where you can decide and dictate the fate of the different characters that you come across, and even your own character for that matter. And then you can rewind the choices and go back. And maybe if you made an oopsie, someone died, you don't like that, you can go back. I really love this. Now that it is actually out, PS5, Series X, and Steam, I am definitely going to have to take a closer look at this now. Now that I remember what it is, and then putting 2 and 2 together on this. And this is absolutely something that is going to be put at the top of the list for this year's Croaktober for me down in October, if not even sooner. I might just play it outside of October because it looks so good. Now that I know what the game was, Feats was actually talking about, I 100% agree with him, and I'm glad that he enjoyed it and he recommended this to me, and he had such a good time with it. This is 2 thumbs up on my I want to play it right now list. I'm absolutely cannot wait to jump into this. But the game is out now for PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. So yeah, leave in the comments if any of you out there listening have played Directive 8020. Let us know what your thoughts are and how you enjoyed it. But Raji, how did you feel about this game? Seeing this, have you played any of the Supermassive games before as well, leading up to this?
I have not played. Oh, excuse me. I have not played any other games. I did watch Feeds play the majority of this and thought it looked very interesting. Shut up, Graham. Yeah, but I just know that there's one big complaint, mostly on the Steam reviews, and that it was just repetitiveness of stealth. And not to give anything away, but I mean, obviously, look at it, there's going to be stealth. But they said it's just a stealth loop over and over again, and it kind of burns you out. But that's from the Steam review. IGN gave it an 8. Metacritic score is is at a 70, good old average 72. So it can't be that bad. Story must be good. I know I got a better score than the last Dark Picture game that came out, or I don't remember what that one was. Was it like
the Devil Inside Me? Was it?
Yeah, The Devil in Me. It got a 6 on IGN. IGN gave us an 8. So it's improved from the last one. I'd be interested to play the whole series because I haven't played any of them, honestly. I don't know if that's a shame on me thing, but yeah, I'd be interested in playing this.
I was really happy to see that there's co-op attached to this too. That could make for some really fun and entertaining streams with you playing with a friend too, going through these choices. Grim, what do you think about this? Does it obviously you're the bastion of scary and horror games, so I'm sure this is number 1 on your list. But checking out the trailer, what were your thoughts on this?
I was actually going to mention the co-op, which is kind of funny that you brought that up. I was ready to. I'm very intrigued to see how that plays out with multiplayer. It reminded me. I'm trying to think of the name of the game, and I can't. But it was that one where you had like a bunch of kids were in like the I can't remember what it was now, like in the mountains, and I wish I could remember the name.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Thank you. Yes. Where that immediately hit me when I was watching this too, with like the choices and everything. I love space, so this is like really, really cool. I think it looks really good. I like the fact that, again, you brought up the whole Thing vibe, or the Thing vibe. I was thinking the same thing as soon as I saw it, and how you might not be able to trust anyone, as literally what it says right there. Yeah, so long as the story is good. Like, the only thing, again, with what Roger was saying, like it being repetitive and everything, that kind of stinks. But at the same time, it looks like you have multiple endings, so you can probably save everyone. Probably no one survives. What happens when only 2 survive? Things like that. So it looks like I would assume there's multiple endings. So I guess there's the replayable value of the game too, because if you want to unlock all of the endings, kind of see which ones would work and which ones don't. But yeah, the co-op is what I'm kind of intrigued on too, on how that works with like a couple friends. How many people? Is it 4?
It says with up to 5 friends on couch co-op movie night mode to share the fright. So it sounds like you're just watching somebody do it.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah, I don't know if it doesn't say anything about online co-op. That's what I was going to bring up to wrap this up. But they are intentionally bringing up local 5-person local co-op. So I guess each person passes a control. Oh, it's your character. All right, here's the controller kind of deal.
Gosh, that takes me back. I remember you saying like, "Don't you feel old yet?" That kind of makes me feel a little old.
Yeah, I will. This is what it says about co-op. It says in the local movie night mode, you and up to 4 friends take turns controlling different members of the crew. Before starting, players are assigned specific crew members, or the game uses a round robin format where control rotates when the perspective shifts to a new character. As the story unfolds, the game will prompt the current player to pass the controller to the person controlling the character on screen. And in group decisions, when the narrative pauses for dialogue or major choices, the whole group can debate the decision before the assigned player makes the move. So, pretty cool for a couch co-op kind of like get together.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure if there was actually online co-op with this, they would actually bring that up in the trailer or the synopsis somewhere. So I'm gonna assume there's no online for this, which is unfortunate. Just gonna have to make sure you have friends in real life if you want to play with others through this experience.
I mean, we're gonna have hundreds of friends at QuakeCon. I mean, just saying.
Well, yeah, true.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of unique.
Yeah, that actually would be. Yeah, you know what? And everyone, and each character, whoever's turn it is, they sit in the seat in the BYOC seat. Yeah, that could be something. Well, we might have to think about that here in a couple months when we're at QuakeCon doing this. But yeah, that is Directive 8020. I can totally see what Feats was talking about when he recommended this to me. I believe it was last night or the night before. I am 100% in on playing this one. Definitely love what it's showing here, especially with all the thing. My biggest thing is I'm just a sucker for like the kind of horror where like the monster gets you, kind of like Among Us as well, where like the monster gets separates the party, and then you're alone with the monster, and then and then the person comes back. But is it did the person overcome the monster and get away, or did the monster take care of that person and now that person is the monster? And then
did you play Until Dawn?
I did, yes.
I bet you love that game.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I wasn't, not to get into often the weeds or anything, but I was a fan of how it started. I wasn't a fan necessarily of where it ended in terms of like story and what the focal point was on the antagonist. That's like I was like, but this one, I absolutely am in love with the fact that it's like the alien and hijacking people, and you don't know, is this actually your friend? Is this your crew member? Or did the alien get him while they were on the toilet, like Raji, and they killed him, and now this isn't your friend anymore. This is the alien pretending to be your friend. You know, I am such a sucker for that kind of horror, and I love that.
That's nasty.
Yep. All right, moving on. Our next game trailer. This one's called Better Than Dead, and I think I have this wish listed on Steam already, but I'm not actually taking a cold hard look at the trailer yet. So we'll do that right now. All right, that was called Better Than Dead. It is already out now at the time of this podcast. This was the launch trailer that was posted May 12th. It's a realistic first-person body cam shooter developed by Monte Gallo. Players will embark on a revenge quest in the streets of Hong Kong to take the lives of those who ruined theirs. Fight through linear levels, explore dense locations, and film every step of the way. Better Than Dead is available now for PC. And I have to tell you, while I was watching this trailer, I couldn't help but think like they took like almost like Google Maps style imagery and just put the UI and the enemies on top of it, and that's what the game is. That's how realistic this thing looks. This looks like you're literally like walking around Hong Kong, and it's just like realistic graphics. I mean, some things you can kind of tell, okay, that's a game, but oh my god, if you're just like quickly glancing at this, you're like, what is this IRL footage while you're playing this game here? This is really, really crazy. Like I've never, there's been very few games that look this realistic in terms of like where you're playing. It literally looks like it's like real world footage here. And I think the why they blurred the faces of all the enemies you're shooting at is because of that, because probably you could tell it's more of a game if you see the characters' faces, because they still haven't quite. I mean, you could argue some gaming companies and developers have kind of perfected game characters' faces to make it look like a movie, but that's few and far between. So maybe that's the reason why they blurred the faces, is to make it still look like it's like a movie. Nevertheless, this looks like a lot of fun. I'm also a sucker for great FPS games like this and a revenge story, and you're just plowing through all these guys, just killing them left and right. And this looks like a bloody great time for me. It's out now. I knew this was already on my wish list the second I started watching the trailer. I remembered I had added it, but this is another game, just a banger. I think I'm going to be grabbing. Raji, what are you thinking about this one? Do you agree that the graphics, like the surroundings, look like it was like real life footage?
Well, I'm gonna be the Debbie Downer on this one. Literally, a game comes out called Body Cam, and now everyone wants to try to make a game that looks like it's from a body cam. I think when you try to replicate something that was already unique, it kind of takes away from what you're trying to achieve. If this would have been a regular FPS, I think they would have achieved more. Yeah, it does look great, but it does have moments of very cartoony like. Didn't get that realistic body cam look. I'm not going to try to take away from it, but the whole blurred face thing is that kind of thing for body cams, because usually they would blur the faces of people in body cam footage. So like in the game body cam, you're not to bring up another game, I'm just saying the people that you are shooting and your teammates, their faces are blurred. So it's just a body cam style thing. It has nothing to do with trying to prevent you to see the cartoony graphics. It's just the nature of body cam. But I mean, I'll give it a shot. If it might have a good story. They really haven't touched much on a story, just a lot of gunplay. But I just think they should have just went with a unique, like they just kept it as a FPS. They're trying to capture that body cam style, because it doesn't make sense why it's body cam unless they touch on it in the story. If you know what I'm trying to say, like are you a cop? Like, what are you? Like, why do you have a body cam? You know.
So you said a body cam was like the kind of the OG, like how Phasma was the OG of that, and Peak is now we're seeing a Peak spinoffs kind
of. Body cam. Whenever that game came out, people didn't believe the footage. They thought people thought they were putting out real footage as video game footage, when it was actually the engine footage that this guy was showing, and people were like couldn't believe just how real it looked. And then whenever you got into it, you're like, oh, now I can tell this is a game. It looks real, but I can tell it's a game. So I think that's what they were trying to capture with this a little bit, but they are also not trying to go too hard to make it look real, so that way you know you're still playing a game.
Does that have because this one looks like it's more like a campaign, like a single player campaign. Does body cam
body cam is just basically a online team deathmatch kind of game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, so when it comes to campaign, I mean, yeah, that's what this is. They got this over body cam. That's pretty cool to play through a story at body cam angle. But what would we call it? Because it's not. I mean, it's an FPS, but it's like a special kind of FPS. Have they decided what they're calling this style of stuff? Just body cam FPS, or
I've heard body cam get tossed around a lot, but they definitely kind of tackled the whole like playing against AIs in this game, from what it sounds like. Because if you're a fan of this kind of game or body cam, like you said, and you don't necessarily want to play against other players, and you just want to have a good time against the computer, then this seems like what they're trying to go for, probably.
Yeah, I think there hasn't been a game with body cam angles for a campaign. It's mostly been online games, so I think that's what they're going for with the first to do it.
Okay. All right. Grem, what do you think about this? Do you agree the game looks pretty realistic? It's almost like you're walking around Google what do you call it? Street Drive, Google Street Drive.
Like Google Maps and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Street View.
There you go. Yeah, I know we always kid around like and say, gosh, the graphics look almost realistic, you know, but this is actually like real. I mean, those are like pictures of the real flags and a warehouse and everything of that nature. That this is all real. I don't know, the hands, like the arm and hands kind of throw me for a little bit. I know you guys are talking about you know, body cam and everything, but this almost feels like a first person. It doesn't look like that's like you're seeing it through a body cam. I feel like the camera would be a little bit lower. Your arms would be, you know, more towards the center of the screen rather than lower. I feel like this just looks like it's first person. It's just, you know, not on the body cam. No, granted, maybe that's what they're going for. But at the same time, yeah, it looks like you're literally walking down, like, just Google, and just as you would normally, like, you could just see it, and it's crazy to think that, you know, maybe like one day, especially in like in our lifetime, graphics will be like this. It will be like exactly how real life is, and it's going to be crazy to, you know, try to figure out like what's real and what's not. But I mean, we're getting there. Granted, something like this, again, you're kind of cheating the system in a way, but at the same time, it looks super real, like you're really there. That's crazy.
Definitely a far cry from the 1980s with the original Nintendo and Super Mario, and you could even go even further to Atari with the Pong. Come a long way.
Oh yeah. I mean, not ET though, because I mean, that game's nowhere around for Atari.
I would almost argue that the technology that has advanced more in that amount of time for video games, would probably have to be like cell phone technology and computer technology. But I would say video game technology is probably right up there. All three of those, just the tech that has come out and the technology and everything. This is a discussion for another time, but since the mid 80s is just incredible with video games.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that's Better Than Dead, already out now, available on PC Steam. I will be going to check and see if I know this is on my wish list already, but this is something I'm definitely interested in, and you can probably see a playthrough of this soon on my YouTube and on the live stream for Twitch. All right, we have one last game trailer to look at, then we have a bit of news to end off. But this next one is for a game that I know Raji has a lot of experience in. I've seen him streaming on his Twitch countless times. I think I played this one time. So yeah, we'll take a look at this new teaser trailer for the Icebreaker update for Escape from Tarkov. There you go, short and sweet and to the point. Again, I've not really played a whole lot of Tarkov. I've seen people stream it and play it and stuff. Extraction shooter, where you're you know, battling other human players in the same battleground map area, the arena, and then there's also some AI enemies components in there trying to they have no dogs in this fight. They're just trying to take out anybody and everybody. Looks like this is going to be basically like a new map for Tarkov. It's going to be on a nuclear-powered ship called the Icebreaker. There's a new storyline, a boss, and some more stuff. And the Icebreaker update is coming soon for macOS and PC. This was revealed back in the beginning part of May 8th through IGN. Looks fun. I've always been a huge fan. I know we always like try to compare games to games, but I've always loved Rainbow Six. I've always thought Tarkov had some Rainbow Six elements to it. Obviously, the end goal is to grab your loot in exfil without dying, and you've got the PvP component in there. You've got the computer enemies in there just trying to kill everybody. So it's kind of like a three-way dance you got going on. But this looks pretty cool. It takes place inside a ship. That is your, and I'm sure Raji will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think most of Tarkov's usual stuff is like you're just in this like territory, this grassy woodlands place with some facilities, buildings. So I think this might be a new thing for Tarkov, where you're actually inside a ship and the whole thing takes place inside the ship, and you're just trying to get in, get what you can, and exfil without taking the L. And I'm sure Tarkov fans are pretty happy about a new update coming for the game. What do you think, Raji?
Well, you know how you went on a rant about Zach Krieger's Resident Evil? Well, I'm about to get my time this week with Escape from Tarkov, buddy.
Oh, okay.
Tarkov currently has 9 public maps. So yeah, so this is gonna be one. This is adding to the count. But you have Labyrinth, which requires special things to get into. It's an underground map. I've never been to it. You have Ground Zero, which is basically your introductory map, starter map, to get you, get you used to the game, how it works, the mechanics, and you can always revisit that map anytime you want. You have Transit, which is basically that's not a map. It's just you could transit between maps while in a match. So you can go to transit to another map and keep your progress and get more XP that way. Customs is one of the OG maps for Tarkov that's been around for the longest time, the last few years. Factory, another OG. Interchange is just a big, Customs is a big open, kind of like suburbanish area with factories and some other places. Factory is an actual, just a small map, like small map. And that's one of the OG maps. Interchange is just a big shopping mall in a wooded area and a big parking lot to go through. Lighthouse, self-explanatory. Reserve is like a kind of like a military area. A shoreline is just a big giant map that's along the coast of Tarkov. Streets of Tarkov is probably the most problematic map in the whole game because it is not optimized whatsoever. So every time you go onto that map, your frames drop really bad. And I think it's just the amount of stuff that is in that map. You're literally on the streets of Tarkov, just buildings, high rises, apartment buildings, everything around you, and just massive amounts of loot. So I think that's what causes problems on the map. And then you have the labs, which is just one big laboratory, small map, bigger than factory, but still in that same size area. And then you have what you're talking about, woods, which is literally just a big open space of wooded area with little places of interest. And snipers love that map. But this icebreaker map is going to be probably popular for a while. I'm not a big fan of PvP, so I didn't play Tarkov for a while until they introduced a strictly 100% PvE mode, where you can go in and not have to worry about the element of PvP. While there is still AI people, like AI characters, to represent what players would be with what we call PMCs. They're controlled by AI instead of actual players, and then you have the actual like AI bosses, the scavs, and all that still built into the PvE mode. That's what I played a lot during QuakeCon last year. It's a lot of fun. I wish more people in the community would get it because you can group up with up to like I think 4 or 5 in a group for PvE. There is friendly fire, so that is something to worry about, but it would make for hilarious moments. I can tell you that. But yeah, right now they got the Prepare for Icebreaker event happening. It ends on the 21st, and what is expected is that not immediately after, but fairly quickly after the event ends, we should be getting this map released for us to play on after the 21st, and it will be available in both PvP and PvE, of course. So yeah, if you like Tarkov and you, I have no shame saying that I love PvE. I hate PvP. Come at me. I don't care. I don't like PvP. So, and that's how I get to enjoy this game is through PvE, and I'm excited.
Well, they must have known there were gamers like you that were in their fan base, because otherwise they would have never added the option to play in PvE. So there must have been a demand there. So there's no shame in that.
Yeah, the people would I think early on, I don't know how far back this goes, but people were modding the game and was calling it single player Tarkov, where they were modding it to be PvE. And so the developers of Tarkov just said, well, since there's such a demand for this and people are going through the trouble of modding our game, let's just make it an official mode. And that's what they did. And it makes me want to download it right now and play tonight.
Yeah, the way you described it with like you can just do PvE, that sounds like a lot of fun for me. I am also not a huge fan of I'll do PvP games. I just have to be in the mood for it. But PvE, I'm always down. I love PvE games, and you can get a good bit. How many people can you have in your group if it's a PvE match?
Let me look.
Is it something crazy like 20 or something? Or is it like
No,
4?
it's not. No, I think it's 4 people per squad.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So because there's restrictions per map. So like factory, I think only 8 PMCs or maybe 6 can spawn in factory. So the smaller the map, the smaller amount of players are actually spawning into that map. The bigger the map, the more players spawn. I think Woods, I think Woods is like 10 players can spawn into that map.
One other question: Can you? Is there an option, or maybe someone surely has modded it? Is there an option to like increase or decrease the density of the enemies per map? Like you have high
No,
density, low density.
not through the game itself. No. People have the single player Tarkov mod community basically. So how can I describe this? Let's take like Lethal Company for example. You know, you have to install a certain thing, and then you have mods that you can now get because of this one thing you've installed onto the Lethal Company. So it's kind of the same thing with Tarkov.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of list of mods, and one of them you can control the difficulty of the AI, how many AI spawn. So you can control the density of PMCs, the scavs, and whether or not you want all the bosses to spawn at the same time on the map. Now, granted, if your computer can handle it, you're in for a wild time. You probably won't live long enough to really enjoy it. But yeah, so there's mods out there that you could control the elements of your single player experience. Now that when I say single player, it's truly single player. You can't play online with a single player mod. That's just you by yourself enjoying that solo. So to play in a group, you have to deal with what's already been given to you density wise.
Okay.
On the official servers.
Some of you listeners out there might be knowing where I'm trying to get to at, and that's the old Rainbow Six Vegas in me. Oh man, so many hours spent with my brother and other people online through Xbox Live playing Rainbow Six Vegas, Terrorist Hunt. Of course, we know Rainbow Six Siege. They kind of really butchered that whole mode from where it originated from, and now it's just like, yeah. But this looks like something it could be kind of in that ilk, and it kind of perks me up a little bit because, man, I had so much fun with Terrorist Hunt on Rainbow Six Vegas. So much fun. All right, Grim, what are your thoughts about Escape from Tarkov? Does this sound like it's not a horror game, so you got that going for you? It's 4-player. You can take out the computer AIs. And what do you think about being on a nuclear ship? That sounds kind of dangerous, doesn't it? Having a gunfight.
Yeah, kind of. One wrong bullet, kaboom. Yeah, it looks really cool. I know it was kind of a short teaser trailer. I like you just put her on there too. That the hacking looks pretty neat. It's just some animation. It gives you a little bit more realism instead of just being like, oh yeah, you unlocked the door. I know PvPvE is somewhat popular. And again, it all goes back to like esports and everything like that. A couple of games that I've tried when it's PvPvE, excuse me, it's like a mouthful. It sucks when you die and you lose everything, and I don't think that's how this works here, Raji.
Oh yeah. Oh dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't insure your stuff, you lost it. So
yeah.
So on PvE, I hate to interrupt.
No,
that's
you're good.
Another thing, great thing you picked up. So on PvE mode, every time you go into a raid, and this is in PvP too, but what I'm about to say, you'll understand why I'm focusing on PvE. You can choose to insure your loadout, and what that means is that if you die with it equipped. Whatever's not in your what we call your butt, which is your basically your container that you get to put items in there you keep no matter you die or not, you get to keep those. We call it put in your butt. You lose your stuff, but if you have it insured, about 24 hours later, you get it back. Now the cool thing about unless it's been patched, which at the time that last I played it, it was not patched, and I think that's just how they wanted it to work. If you go into a PvE game solo and you insure your stuff and you die, you're guaranteed to get it back because solo games are not through the servers. So once you die, the game is over. There's no, it's not continuing on like it's on a server, and you're guaranteed to get your stuff back. However, if you are in a group of people and then you die in that game, you're not guaranteed to get your stuff back because that server game keeps going even after your death until everyone is gone and the timer expires because it's going through the server instead of your local machine. So another thing to keep in mind, like if you like to hang on to your stuff, I wouldn't play with other people having good loot or having your good loadout. I would save that for solo. That way you're guaranteed to get it back.
Yeah, and I feel like too. I've read up to like some people can be kind of dishonest, but they will be honest at first just to kind of have you turn your back kind of deal. I don't know, those type of game play does not interest me really. I do like the fact that, again, though, there's a PvE aspect to it. I mean, if you just want to have fun with a couple of your friends and just kind of like hop in, waste good like 20 minutes and play with your friends and everything, this game looks really, really sweet for that. So, but that would be pretty much what I would probably hop in on this game for, is just to hang out with a couple of friends and just have a good time.
Real quick to tie a bow on this thing, I just want to mention that the first comment I see on this trailer is the first person that says anything is, "Can't wait to attach 6 flashlights to my loadout."
Oh yeah, there's heavy customization in this game. I think I mean, he's not far from being wrong. So,
all right, well, there you go. Our final, well, actually, no, we have one more after this. But this should go quick. Our next bit of news is with Fortnite. Fortnite is back in the news again, like it always seems to be, constantly. And they have a little collaboration going on with Overwatch. We experienced this the other night on our Twitch live stream. And I myself have personally, I was going to get the whole pack, but I was like, nah, I wanted to get some songs too. So I ended up getting, well, you know what? I'll go into it after we watch the trailer real quick. Let's take a look at the Fortnite X Overwatch Act 3 trailer.
It's okay. I got you, buddy. Stay with me, Sticks.
Heroes never die.
The cavalry's here! Nerf this!
Yes, I was waiting for the additional sound bite after the nerf this. That's how ruined I am of that. Yeah, that's it. That's how ruined I am hearing that now at this point in time. But yes, we do have this. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first time Overwatch has collabed with Fortnite. Might be wrong. Might be correct. I don't know.
I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah, first time.
Okay, cool. But we have Mercy, Tracer, Diva, and Genji as the characters. They come with all the attachments, the backpacks, I believe even a vehicle with the pack, lots of cosmetics for each character, and of course, and as I was saying the other night, I went in and actually bought Diva and Mercy for myself. I didn't get Tracer or Genji, but I may go back while the event's still. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it, but I wanted to get more songs for the Rock Band mode. That's what I really like about Fortnite, which we spent hours on the other night, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But Fortnite and Overwatch, another collab. When you think about collabs in video gaming, you think Power Wash Simulator, you think Fortnite. Fortnite definitely has this. Like, there's been so many collabs with Fortnite, not even just in gaming, just in everything pop culture and life. So it's not surprising to me to see Overwatch has finally joined up and teamed up with Fortnite. It always makes me excited to see what the next thing is for Fortnite, who they're going to team up with and partner up with next year or next time. And as we record this, actually, they even dropped another collab, which was with, oh my God, I was just looking at it. Maybe one of you guys can remind me, but Fortnite was collabing with something else that just came out as well while we were getting ready for the podcast. I can't believe I can't think of it now. I'll pass it off to Raji and I'll try to find it. But are you surprised that Overwatch has finally joined Blizzard and Fortnite teaming up? That's basically Microsoft and Epic, right? When you get down to it, teaming up here for this little timed event.
They've done a lot of collabs. I mean, they've done Marvel, they've done the NFL, they've done with Disney, with Ralph Breaks the Internet, they've done Marshmallow, Nerf, John Wick, Stranger Things, Nike, Borderlands 3, DC. They did a lot of collabs, and I'm surprised. All on the Mandalorian and Grogu. Yep. They've done a lot of collabs, and it's crazy that it's just the age of collabs. I mean, look at all the crossovers we're getting. You know, you got Phasma and Alan Wake. You got all the crossovers we're getting through Overwatch, which is crazy. Even Hitman is getting collabs. I mean, I think there was a Conor McGregor one, and then what was the last one they just announced?
I think Eminem. You could kill Eminem. You could kill. There's been so many on Hitman. It's hard to keep track of all of them.
Wasn't
just to go back though, yes, the one I was talking about was Mandalorian and Grogu. That was as of 9 hours ago of this podcast. So the Overwatch one isn't even the newest collab with Fortnite. The Mandalorian Grogu is.
Not to go on tangent, I think the one I was thinking about was the lady in the Resident Evil movies. She was in the one collabs for
Mia Jovovich.
Yeah,
that's right.
So it's just I'm glad to see these crossovers and collabs happen because it just makes games that much better.
All right, and Grem, I know you did you pick up the whole pack?
I have not yet. No.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you think about? Do you think they should have went with a different set of characters to better represent Overwatch for Fortnite, or do you think they hit it on the mark?
You know, it's funny you mention that because I was thinking about that. They hit like they have a tank, even though it's Diva. Technically, she is a tank. They had a melee attacker, they had a ranged attacker, and then they had a support character. So I was kind of wondering why they picked those four. But at the same time, I was also thinking, I feel like those are probably the four popular characters in Overwatch. When you think Overwatch, I mean, the Mercy line is, you know, Heroes Never Die, you know, Tracer, T-Racer, things like that. You know, Genji, I Need Healing. Diva, obviously for Raji and his gluteus maximus problem. But, you know, like things like that with Fortnite. It's funny because they're doing a lot of collabs, and we always were thinking when we were younger, like, gosh, wouldn't it be cool to have like Sonic and Mario in a game or something like that? You know, Street Fighter, Capcom was also like really, and that's a popular series. Obviously, like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, if that was ever to collab, I think that would blow people's minds. That would just wreck potentially the internet. But at the same time, too, Fortnite has been really kind of changing, I guess, their game really, because you could do a lot in Fortnite. You talked about it. We were doing the music festival, the music rock band. That's what it was before. The other night, you know, you could do Lego, which is kind of like Minecraft. There are many other game modes that even like people like us are creating. They just do so much to change like what you can do at Fortnite. Like you could almost basically just play on Fortnite, and it's gotten that popular and that big where they're like, we want to keep everyone still happy. We want people to still keep playing this game, whether you play Lego, whether you do the racing, whether you do Rock Band, whether you do the actual game itself. I mean, heck, Zero Build is fun. I love Zero Build. So it's unique to see how Fortnite has kind of evolved from a game that was, hey, we're going to throw in this free battle royale, but our main game is going to be like surviving all of these zombies. And it has just transformed into still like a juggernaut. Dare I say, basically almost like World of Warcraft, but just for its own section, where it may never go away, like ever.
Yep, kind of like Roblox. Roblox kind of following suit there with the Fortnite thing. They just don't seem to have the partnerships that Epic Games does.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
more of a fan made kind of stuff.
But who here is an OG and was here for Save the World before any of this was a thought for Fortnite?
Not me.
Not me, sadly.
I'm an OG. I was part of the Save the World crew, so I was in on Fortnite before the Battle Royale stuff took over.
No, I was right into the Battle Royale. I remember getting a Battle Royale victory in like the regular mode, and I hated building, and I really didn't build much. I was kind of like once I got that first win, I was like, yes, I finally did it kind of deal. But yeah, I know my wife has Saved the World, so I think she was one of those OGs like you, Raji. And it's crazy to think that was what they want. That was their game. Like they were like, dude, we're gonna sell, Save the World. We're going to give the Battle Royale for free because, I mean, it's just a little extra thing. And then it just blew up into like, oh my gosh, this is the next best thing.
I was very late to the Fortnite party. I only started playing it a handful of years ago, so definitely late to the party. But I enjoy the regular mode, but the Rock Band mode is definitely just a really fun time. Love doing that.
And that's the crazy part about Fortnite, right? You can get in at any time, and it just feels like you haven't missed a step or missed anything really. You can just easily get in and play whatever you feel like.
It's funny because they just recently, I think last year, what would you consider, like, reset the whole world back to like OG season 1
Yep,
kind of thing. So they know the love is there. That's why I think we're getting all these collabs, is because there's the popularity for this game is just it's uncharted, dude. It's just crazy.
Okay, well, Fortnite coming to or Overwatch coming to Fortnite, and now we have Star Wars and Grogu, Mandalorian Grogu coming in right now as we also record this podcast. But want to take a look at that since I personally have actually purchased it, so I want to bring that to the gaming news cycle for this podcast. But yeah, we're gonna move on to, even if you thought Fortnite was big, hold my beer, because here comes even bigger news in the video gaming world that everybody has been talking about. This was dropped basically 2 days ago. There were some leaks, because there's always going to be leaks when it comes to this. It's basically going to be the biggest video game of all time at this point in time. So there's going to be leaks everywhere, and people clamoring to get what they can out of this before, to be the first person to break the news or whatever. But apparently it was released and dropped, and I'm sure these other guys can kind of, because I'm just kind of, I don't really care. I'm of the mindset, when it comes out, it comes out. I'm going to play it. I've already made my mind up. I made my mind up a long time ago, but I don't need to know like every tiny little juicy little detail before the game. You know what? I'm not like that. I just feel like it ruins the experience of you waiting for the anticipation and the hype for the game. So I'm not into that, but for the sake of the podcast, I want to bring it up because it is like huge news. But as we all know, GTA 6 is coming out. They've got a release date of November 19th. Some people even say that they're going to either push it back again. I know Rockstar has said themselves, at least, I guess you have to really say for a lot of this conversation, reliable sources. You have to put reliable sources in quotes when it comes to GTA, that they said they would no longer change the date, that this is a secure date. But again, air quotes, secure sources. But that's what our people are saying. And they dropped the prices. Standard edition GTA 6 on November 19th for PS5 and Xbox is going to be $80. That's just the bottom base payment to just bare minimum play GTA 6, $80. Then you have the deluxe upgrade edition with early access gameplay for $100. And then of course you have the premium edition plus bonus, whatever that means. And that price is not yet determined according to what we see here on social media. And of course, you know, people have been dropping game covers and cover art for what they think GTA 6 is, whether it's actually legit or not. You know, once again, air quotes, secure or reliable sources. Who knows? You know, everyone out there says that they're a reliable source with this. And again, I'm not like hardcore into it. It's just like when the game drops, I'll play it. That's good enough for me. I don't need all this extra. But definitely wanted to bring this and add this to the podcast, because when it comes to video gaming and video game world and video game news right now at this point in time, GTA 6 is definitely like the one. And like I said, I feel like this might go on to be probably the most, maybe you could argue with me, maybe you will. This game might be the most anticipated video game of all time. I feel like.
No.
Okay. Well, you obviously argue that
I don't think we've reached Duke Nukem Forever levels yet.
Oh, okay. You're joking. Okay. But yeah, I think this game will probably end up being the most anticipated, and whether or not it's the most pre-ordered game of all time, and how it might be, who knows? It wouldn't surprise me if it was in video game history. But it's definitely up there, and that's why I want to add this to the podcast here. All right, what do you have to add to the GTA 6 conversation, Raji?
Well, you might want to know when pre-orders are available, because let's hope to God you actually get this one before December 31st.
Yeah, right.
But
not doing it through Walmart, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, according to our good friends at Best Buy, name dropping the company because there's so much proof out there. According to several things that have been dropped by Best Buy, pre-orders are going. Okay, take this with a grain of salt if you're listening to this today, it's 17th, or if you're listening to this middle of the day tomorrow and you're like, hey, what the hell? According to Best Buy, pre-orders go live tomorrow. That is according to...
For clarification, that's May 18th.
Yes, May 18th. That is from a leaked email that has been deleted, and that is also from several people chatting with customer support on Best Buy who was given that date to them by customer support. Like this message says, I recommend checking our site first thing this Monday, May 18th, as that is when we expect the pre-order listings to go live for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. And then another one with Best Buy says, based on our recent updates, GTA 6 pre-orders are reportedly set to go live on May 18th, 2026. So, if you're dead set on getting GTA 6, I have been hyped for this game since the original leaks back before they officially announced the game. If anybody remembers those leaks, that person is actually life in prison right now for those leaks. Oof. Anyways, I'm hyped. I'm not like, oh my god, super hyped that I'm gonna get my disappointment set in. I think this game is gonna be great no matter what. Will it live to the expectation people are giving it? Probably not. Does any game ever do that? No. I'm excited. I'm gonna pre-order it. I know you're gonna pre-order it. Hope to God you get before December. We'll see what comes first, Resident Evil Requiem or GTA 6.
Well, I ain't doing it through Walmart.
It would be hilarious if Requiem comes in before GTA 6. That would be the cherry on top. So
no, it'd be funny if GTA 6 came in before Requiem.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited.
What's that meme? We got GTA 6 before Resident Evil Requiem. That's the meme, right? We got GTA 6 before blank. Yeah, I got GTA 6 before I got Resident Evil Requiem. Thanks, Walmart. Hashtag.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited.
All right, Grem, GTA. Have you ever played any of the GTAs before? Have you heard the hype? Surely you have.
Yeah. Yes, and yes. We all kind of knew it was going to be around Christmas time anyways, so that doesn't really surprise me. I guess the surprising part is that, pre-orders potentially tomorrow. I mean, we're in May. Rockstar has to know, everyone is going to be wanting this game, everyone. And that's kind of funny, actually. I still have both of those. I could pre-order for that. That'd be amazing. But Yeah, I mean, again, this is the game of all games right now. Like everyone wants to play this game. I know GTA 5 players have been just clamoring just to get this game out because they've done pretty much almost everything in GTA 5 except for the figuring out the spider web thing that bled into Red Dead Redemption 2. But other than that, like everything they can come up with, including like trick Williams, sorry, trick moves,
Whoop.
like going up ramps and through airplanes and under bridges and whatnot. That's the kind of stuff that GTA players will do, waiting for that next game, and they've been waiting a long time for this one. But again, we all knew it was going to be around Christmas time because obviously everyone's going to want it. It's going to be like, I'm trying to remember that movie where they were trying to get the action figure with Arnold in it.
Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Big Show was in that.
Yes, but it won't be nearly as bad because obviously a lot of people are just going to get the digital download. But some people still go with digital copies, still want that there, and they might not even actually play it on there. They just want the physical copy, and it's gonna be nuts, especially around Black Friday and everything like that. On top of that, so the Black Friday has calmed down. I can see this kind of really picking that back up and being one of those things where, oh wow, we have to talk about Black Friday again, people trampling over other people and hurting people and things like that. So, but no, again, everyone wants this game. I'm pretty confident we're all probably going to have it by the end of the year for sure. If again, that is true, that November 19th is the release date.
All right. So go ahead.
I was gonna say this is the big in all GTA games. This is the biggest margin of wait between games at 13 years.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because we got so even go back from the originals, they were 2 years apart. We got GTA expansions in '99, the same year GTA 2 came out. GTA 3 came out in 2001. Vice City the next year. San Andreas 2 years after that. We got a couple of handheld games with Advance and Liberty City, Vice City Stories that came out in 2004 and 2005, 2006. GTA 4 in 2008. DLC for GTA 4 the following year. GTA 5 in 2013, and so this will 13 years later, we're finally getting another GTA of some sort, and it's the longest wait we've ever had to go through. So I it's rightfully so that the hype for this game is up there.
Yeah, and this is probably gonna. I think they've already, well, again, air quotes, reliable sources. They said that this is going to be like the biggest by far GTA, just the map. It's. I think I saw a comparison picture of like what Vice City was, and then put it into the map of GTA 6, and it's just like a quarter of what GTA 6 is, because it's just so massive and large. So yeah, 13 years is because they're pumping so much into this, and it's going to be the biggest game we've ever played when it comes to a sandbox game, probably, not other than the ones that are like endless or whatever. But yeah, going back to the reliable sources, air quotes, in this thread we're looking at, one of the first things I saw was GTA 6 is now coming April 18th, 2027. So there you go. And it's like made it out like it's from the Rockstar website. So take it with what you want, but this was the big news in the video gaming cycle lately. Different leaks and release dates and stuff. We'll keep an eye on it and continue to bring it up here on the podcast moving forward, because it is GTA 6. But as of now,
who knows? That might be our giveaway in November.
Oh yeah. If you want some GTA 6, make sure to keep tuning in and listening, listeners. But as of right now, available November 19th, PS5 and Xbox, and we'll have to check Best Buy tomorrow, May 18th, and see if that's actually available for pre-order, unless their website completely collapses on them. GGS Jurial.
Then go to Walmart.
Yeah, no, would not recommend. Okay, well, that'll wrap up our gaming news for episode 11 of Toe Talk Podcast. We're going to jump into sports. We've got quite a bit of sports to talk about. Real quick, I know the final. I know maybe they want to talk a little bit more about it. I'm just going to kind of briefly go through it. The Thunder, what we were talking about the last time we talked about this last episode was the OKC Thunder was hoping to win out and be the first team to ever do that in NBA history. So far looking good. We know that they're going to take on the Spurs in the semifinals. That will be taking place this Monday, 7:30 p.m. Central. That's kind of I don't know. It was kind of looking like the T-Wolves there for a second was going to maybe do it, but the Spurs did what everyone thought they were going to do. So it's going to be Thunder Spurs semifinals. What a turnaround for the Spurs from last year, as we mentioned before. And then over on the east side, we have the Knicks, who have been waiting patiently to see who the winner of that's going to be between the Pistons and Cavaliers. Series tied 3-3. I think there's a game happening right now. In fact, I'm sure they'll touch into.
Yeah.
But we're waiting on Pistons and Cavaliers to take on the Knicks in the semifinals over on that side, and then we will actually have our Final Four. But with that brief synopsis, I'll pass it over Raji and Grem. Let them add on.
Well, if what I'm looking at continues for the rest of this game, it looks like the Cleveland Cavaliers is going to secure their spot in the Eastern Conference Finals because they are currently up by 20 on the first seeded Detroit Pistons, and it has been a very, very weird series. I mean, it's Pistons just can't seem to put them away. Like they definitely couldn't win in Cleveland until just recently, I believe. I think the last game was in Cleveland. They won. But yeah, this is something that's I did not expect this one to go to Game 7 whenever this first started. So to see these two teams go to a Game 7 is wild to me. So, but I'm kind of rooting for Cleveland to do it. It'd be kind of cool for an underdog that who's to a number 1 seed to do it. So.
All right, and Graham, you got anything to add? Who, as a Knicks fan, who would you rather like to see in the semifinals?
I mean, well, first to kind of piggyback a little bit off of Raji. I mean, heck, Detroit had a hard time against the Magic, and I actually thought the Magic was going to win that series. So it doesn't surprise me that Detroit is kind of struggling right now. To answer your question, between the two, the Knicks and Pistons have history, not as deep history, but some history there. And Cleveland as well has Donovan Mitchell as well. So I mean, it looks like it's gonna be Cleveland. So regardless whether it's Detroit or Cleveland, it's gonna be one or the other. If it's Cleveland, I still think the Knicks are a better team. I still think they're gonna make the finals. I still think also that the Thunder will win as well, which kind of leads me to thinking that maybe if it is the finals between the Thunder and the Knicks, we have to have some sort of wager between us, Tad, don't you think?
Whoa. Before you get ahead of yourself, I'm going to come in here and just kill the dream. Okay. Let's go back to 2025, shall we, Grim? Because I just looked, and the Indiana Pacers were the 4th seed, winning the game against the number 1 seed Cavaliers at the time, who ended up beating the Knicks and then eventually lost to OKC. So history repeats itself. You ain't making it past the conference finals. Cavaliers going to take you out.
Yeah, but that's the funny thing about history, Raji. It sometimes doesn't repeat itself.
Well, right now it's been repeating itself, so we'll see. You better hope it changes soon.
All right, but I think, if it does actually come down to the Thunder versus the Knicks in the finals, considering I have obviously a vested interest in OKC since I am from here, and Graham loves the Knicks, that's his favorite NBA team, there might have to be some kind of wager once we figure that out. Whenever that does happen, I don't know if that'll be.
If it becomes the finals matchup, I think it would be kind of fun for us to do. But we'll see if that happens.
Bare minimum, I don't think we would still know that on next week's podcast, but definitely 2 podcasts from now, I think we would definitely know who the Final Four is. So we'll keep an eye on that, and obviously we keep track of this. We've been keeping track of this, and we'll continue to keep a track of it. And here's hoping the Thunder get a big win on Monday over the Spurs to get them in the door there to start off. And we'll see what happens on that game tonight. Pistons and Cavaliers 3-3 series tie. All right, that's your NBA news. We're gonna move on over now to what was this? Oh yeah, we're gonna have a brief bit of
Oh,
NFL news. So you guys are gonna love this. The NFL is around the corner, and before you know it, it's gonna be August, September again, and it's gonna be all NFL. But leading up to that, apparently the NFL broke a couple of scheduling things, like where they're going to be overseas. They released some of those games. I believe the Steelers are going to be, I couldn't remember exactly. Steelers are going to be playing overseas somewhere, or it might have been Canada. I'm not sure. But for definitely, we know, because I'm looking at it right here, we have the date for next year's Super Bowl. And that is going to be taking place on a very controversial date. There's going to be households all across the world, and definitely in the United States, at odds here. I don't know if they did this as a meme. I don't know what the strategery is on this. Maybe they wanted to see the divorce rate go up even higher in America, but apparently the Super Bowl for next year is going to actually be taking place on February 14th. And if those of you that are involved in relationships out there, you know, February 14th is Valentine's Day. And as a side note, as a gamer, that is also Laura Croft's birthday. But yes, Super Bowl on Valentine's Day. Oh my goodness. There's going to be some memes. There's going to be some uproar out of this. I don't even want to look at the comments about this right now, because I know what it's going to be. But Raji, what do you think? Obviously there's some significant others that out there that are like, you know what, it's you time. Go watch your fuse ball, go watch your sports ball. It's fine, whatever. But what are your thoughts on this Super Bowl on Valentine's Day?
Well, for those couples that both like football, it's a great date night right off the rip. For those who don't have a significant other that likes football, that's a rough time. I can foresee at least one person in that relationship getting distracted at the restaurant if there's TVs on, because you know whatever restaurant anyone eats at, the Super Bowl will have to be on there by demand, because why would you not, right? And then for single people, they're like, Valentine's Day, what's that? So yeah, I know it just fell on a Sunday, Valentine's Day did, but they could have at least skipped a week, you know, went to the 21st. But I guess they wanted to see the chaos, which I'm all here for. Let's just unleash chaos.
Question for you. I'll pass it over to Grem and you can fact check. Has there ever been a Super Bowl previously on Valentine's Day? Something to check out. Grem, what are your thoughts on Super Bowl on Valentine's Day?
Well, with the Super Bowl being on Valentine's Day as well, you think that it could be chaos. But a lot of people have parties on that day. The issue obviously is that it's supposed to be a day for, you know, couples to go out and you know, be together solo. At the same time too, you could just kind of make it a day. Usually the Super Bowl doesn't start until like 6-7 o'clock anyways, so you know, you can just have, you know, the Valentine's Day during the day, and then you can do the Super Bowl at night kind of deal. So but I'm kind of with Raji, like, why not just, you've known about this for probably at least 2 years, right? Like just skip it. Like just do a you know, the following week, or you know, the 7th, February 7th. Just move everything up like an extra week and start preseason an extra week early kind of deal, and just kind of move on that way. I mean, that would have been the most sense, really.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they wanted to make history because this is the first ever Super Bowl to ever fall on Valentine's Day.
There we go.
The game that the Grim would respect this, the game that got the closest was February 13th, 2022, LA Rams against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, dang.
They came close, but they're like, nah.
No, we have to make this happen. Yeah.
Oh, the Bengals are involved? Nah, dude.
No.
All right, well, there you go. Rip some relationships out there. Obviously, I'm over, you know, I'm making this. Well, I don't know. Actually, I say that. There probably
no.
You're on point.
I was trying to give myself benefit of the doubt here, but yeah, now that I think about it, never mind. Well, yeah, rip some of you guys out there. Sorry, not sorry.
There's gonna be some sacrifices made one way or the other that day. So
yes, absolutely. All right. Well, that's Super Bowl on Valentine's Day, and GG to all of you out there that are sweating it out right now already. At least you have some months in advance to plan out what the game plan is going to be for that. All right, moving on to NHL news. We are well into the Stanley Cup playoffs right now in 2026. And for those news, I'm going to do with a brief synopsis, send it over to Zazarus. He kind of touched this on the Bring Your Own News, but we'll kind of go into it just a little bit more here for NHL news.
Oh, that was actually throwing it to me. Dang, I've got to catch better. Anyways,
brother, I don't watch hockey.
Yeah, I know. You guys should, though. You really should. At least give it a shot. I think when we had this last week, and I'll kind of go real quickly, the Vegas Golden Knights actually beat Anaheim 4-2 in the series. Colorado beat Minnesota. Minnesota just had like goaltending issues, but at the same time too, Colorado is a scoring machine. That series got chippy. I think it was Game 3. One of the Minnesota players, I don't know, his name escapes me sadly, used the end of the tall end of the stick and actually hit a Colorado player in the face. That series was very, very chippy. I don't think the Western Conference Final is going to be as chippy. I think both Vegas and Colorado are going to be just more focused on scoring out the other opponent, basically. I expect a lot of high scoring in all of those games between those two teams. On the Eastern Conference, we do have Carolina.
Josh Manson.
Thank you. See, this is your first step, Raji. We knew about Carolina already, waiting Buffalo and Montreal. Montreal and Buffalo actually Game 4. This is the one I really want to bring up real quick. There was a crazy sequence for a goal that was called a goal and then it was taken away. They did a challenge on a shot on Jack Quinn's kind of like a backhander, and it went into the glove of Jacob Dobbs, the goaltender for Montreal, and the actual glove went over the line with the puck in his glove. So they're trying to determine whether or not the puck was further back in the glove, if it was up closer, where the puck is. And so it took a good couple of minutes for them to finally figure out, oh, yeah, the puck is past the line. It's a goal, which you don't normally see that with goalies catching the puck with their glove hand, that hand going back so far back behind that line. And Montreal's like, no, we're going to challenge the fact that there was goalie interference. And there was already two Buffalo Sabre players in the goalie crease, that blue thing in front, like where the goalies kind of are stationed. And they again, it was like a whole 12-minute ordeal on trying to figure out whether this was a goal, whether it wasn't a goal. Ultimately, they determined that it was goalie interference because they interfered with his stick on his other hand, and he's making like a big stretch. It's a crazy goal. You can easily look it up on YouTube, but it was nuts. And of course, that game is now, or that series, is going to a Game 7, which is tomorrow. Again, Game 7. This series has been really, really good. It got chippy after I think Game 5, and Game 6 was kind of like Buffalo kind of saying we're not going away, and Montreal has one more chance to kind of put away Buffalo here. And again, Buffalo is I believe the number 1 seed. So, and then Carolina's just kind of sitting back and everything. But yeah, Game 7 tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be watching it. And again, I implore anyone to watch a Game 7 in hockey.
So you're telling me that for 10 minutes they did not play hockey, and they looked at this play twice. The first time they said it was a goal. Second time they said, nah, that ain't a goal because of goalie interference. I would be so mad if I was in the stands. I'd be so antsy and just want to leave at that point because it's like, oh my god!
Yeah, like, can we just play hockey? So yeah, it was a crazy turn of events. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. But again, I figured I'd bring it up for all the hockey guys and gals that are potentially listening to us right now.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on the Stanley Cup playoffs, of course, as it progresses. Of course, we know the COLs and the VG. I'm kidding. The Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Kings are on one side. We got Carolina waiting on the result of Buffalo and Montreal right now on the other side. So yeah, we'll know what our final four is for NHL very soon. and probably we would definitely know the final four by next episode, right? At least.
Yeah, there should already be some games played in the conference finals at that point.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
Sure. Yeah. So.
All right, we'll have another update on NHL on next week's episode. So if you're following hockey and NHL, you can come back next week and we'll give our thoughts on that. And now we move over to NASCAR. And earlier today we had the All-Star race. And while it wasn't for NASCAR Cup points, which we almost had to second guess ourselves for a second, because thanks NASCAR.com, the way you have this written out. Our big winner today was Denny Hamlin, who had already scored, I believe, he'd already won a race through this Cup Series before. With Joe Gibbs Racing, he comes away with the All-Star race. No points for this, just kind of like extra credit, I guess. With Chase Briscoe coming in second, Eric Jones third, Austin Dillon fourth, Connor Zilish fifth, Austin Cindric sixth, William Byron seven, Michael McDowell eighth. I'll just do the top 10. Alex Bowman coming in ninth, and Brad Keselowski coming in your top 10 there. And they also got $1 million, I believe. Whether that goes to the driver or Joe Gibbs Racing, or they kind of just divvy it up. I'm sure they just divvy it up or something. Part goes to you, part goes to you, part goes to you, whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of not something to thumb your nose at. I mean, $1 million is $1 million. I mean, I'd take $1 million. So while it isn't for cup points, you get some dosh. So let's see, Bubba, just some notable standings here in the All-Star race. Bubba Wallace, our good friend Bubba Wallace, coming in 20th. Our even better friend, I almost said it, Kyle Busch, coming in 17th. I'm trying to be better about that.
Kyle, it's okay.
And then Kyle Larson coming in 26 as some other standouts there. But that's kind of your brief synopsis of today's All-Star race for NASCAR. But I'll send it over to Raji and Grem for some additional news, I guess.
I don't have anything additional, and never mind. I almost said a bad word about Diddy.
All right.
Go ahead, Grem.
All right. Well, Grem has just passed by Raji, and now he's in second place. What you got?
Yeah. So not much about this week, but next week actually can be very. It's going to be historical. There's a driver, and she actually raced at the Glen last week. Her name is Catherine Legg. She's British, and she's going to not only be racing the Indy 500 on Sunday, but she's also going to be racing the Coca-Cola 600. I believe there's only been 6, maybe 5, maybe she may be the 6th person to ever do it. I believe she'll be the first woman to attempt it, and she's also going to be the first woman to. She's the first woman to attempt it. She's the first non-U.S. driver to attempt this as well, and I believe she's also going to be the oldest person to attempt this. So what that means is that she's going to be racing the Indy 500. She's going to take a plane from the Indy 500 when it's done over to Charlotte, North Carolina, and race in Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600. So it's kind of a big deal. Now, again, she usually isn't one of those where she's getting like top 10, top 15s. But the fact that you're literally driving 1,100 miles in one day, with the G-force and everything like that, especially with Formula One cars, on how punishing they can be because they're so small and tiny, is something to kind of look out for. So kind of a big night for NASCAR in a way next week with the Coca-Cola 600, but also with the Indy 500 as well.
Yeah, I hope she does it because I know how grueling it is. Because to actually complete the challenge, you have to not be a lap down on either race.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's only been done once. I don't know if we talked. Well, I don't know if we touched on this. But Tony Stewart is the only one to do it back in 2001.
Yes.
He did all 1,100 miles, and I think he talked about how just spent he was and thought he was. I think he took a trip to the hospital after the end of it just from the dehydration he went through.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no doubt. But it's going to be it'll be something to kind of keep an eye on, and definitely something that we probably track when we're doing the podcast next week. I would assume as well, to kind of see how she's doing and whether or not she's gotten through the first leg, which was the Indy 500 at that point.
Absolutely,
it seems like the only challenge that they face that really thwarts a lot of people are rain delays.
Yes.
That is what has ruined a lot of people's attempts. Like recently, Kyle Larson, the Indy 500 was hit with weather delays, and he couldn't even make it to the Coke 600. So,
All righty. Well, we'll keep our eyes on that. And of course, next Sunday, May 24th, is the Coca-Cola 600. It's going to be at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we'll see who wins out on that. And we'll bring you the results of that as well. I like the NASCAR recording this podcast, because usually by the time we do this podcast, the race is over or has been wrapped up for a little while. So it's kind of like breaking news for the podcast. So that's really cool. But yeah, we'll talk about Charlotte next episode and see who wins out on that one. All right, moving over to our last bit of sports. Actually, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we got the Croakitoad racing cup.
The actual racing we care about.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Take it.
So we're going to talk about. So this might take a big chunk. I will try to get through this as quick as I can without stumbling.
We're timing you now.
Yeah, we're going to talk about 4 races this week because I'm trying to catch up to the actual schedule. Last week at the Daytona 500 recap, Puddle Duck came in first, Fuse for Spin second, and Signified third. It was a photo finish. However, I don't know if we touched on this. The standings reflect Fuse for Spins is in first, Signified second because of stage points. Puddle Duck came in third. Even though she won, she did not get as many stage points as the other two. I wanted to touch on that in case somebody saw that in the Discord and was asking questions about it. So next race up is the Auto Trader 400 from Echo Park Speedway. That is Atlanta. In qualifying, I'm only going to go over the top 5 qualifiers. Signified got the pole, Fuse for Spin second, Puddle Duck third, Asterial fourth, and Celestia fifth. And Tad Croakitoad, you came in sixth right there. So I guess I'll do the top 6 there. Big stories, if anybody remembers from the Daytona 500, we had Wizard Boss and Scorpios get into a feud. WTF Chalk was accused of intentionally wrecking people, so just a few storylines to point out there. I also think however. All right, so we're going into the official results of Echo Park Speedway. We had Signified control the early part of the race from the pole. Fuse for Spin stayed glued to the front row pace. Puddle Duck kept Croakitoad racing in the fight. Celestia quietly hung around the top 5 waiting for the long run, and WTF Chalk made a surprising charge toward the front and looked like a real factor. Signified would go on to win stage 1. Major incident number 1, though. The first huge storyline came when WTF Chalk raced her way into the lead pack. Coming off turn 2, Roxas got into the back of WTF Chalk and turned her. She slid back up the racetrack and collected the leaders. She would take out Signified, Fuse for Spins, and Puddle Duck. All 4 cars suffered damage and had to come down pit road, sending the 3 favorites to the back of the field. At first, everybody in the booth and on pit road blamed WTF Chalk again, but after the replay, it was clear that Roxas spun WTF Chalk and the wreck was not her fault. That immediately changed the tone of the story. Stage 2, even after getting sent to the rear, Fuse for Spins fought back the quickest and stole stage 2. Meanwhile, Celestia kept gaining track position. Croakitoad looked like the best long-run car. Jack Winters impressed in his debut with a clean, smart run, and Queen Sabi stayed in contention all day. Well, then we had going to major incident number 2. Wizard Boss 12 gets revenge. The simmering feud from Daytona finally boiled over. At the halfway point, Wizard Boss got to the bumper of Scorpios and paid him back for last week. Heading into the corner, Wizard Boss moved Scorpios out of the groove and sent him into the wall hard enough to end his race. Scorpios would end with a DNF. Wizard Boss kept going, but the rivalry is now officially out of control. In the final stage, Roxas had already been under fire for the earlier WTF Chalk incident, and things got worse late. In the final stage, Roxas and Indogirl 1982 got together while racing mid-pack. Neither driver lifted. Contact escalated, and both cars were destroyed. Both drivers were knocked out of the race. After climbing from the cars, tempers exploded. Crew members and race officials had to step in and physically separate them on pit road. The finish late in the race, it came down to Croakitoad and Celestia. Croakitoad looked like he might finally have the field covered, but with under 10 laps to go, Celestia got to his rear bumper and delivered a clean but decisive bump and run. Croakitoad got shuffled up just enough, and Celestia drove away. From there, nobody had anything for her. She would win the Auto Trader 400 by a lead of 6 seconds.
Ouch.
So with that win, she moves up to 4th in the standings. Fuse for Spins is signified, maintain that 1-2. Puddle Duck number 3 with a win. Celestia number 4. Croakitoad at 5. Going into race number 3, which is everyone's favorite road course, COTA, or otherwise known as Circuit of the Americas. In qualifying, top 5 qualifiers were Razorback Hitman, Signify, Celestia, Fuse for Spins, and Croakitoad. Whew. I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can, guys. The race recap. There was nothing really major that happened this. Nothing really does on road courses. But I can tell you that stage 1 winner was Razorback Hitman. That was me. Stage 2 winner was Razorback Hitman. That was me. And the winner of the race was Razorback Hitman. That was me. So yeah, stage 1 was Signify, Celestia in 2 and 3. Stage 2 was Celestia and Croakitoad at 2 and 3. And the final race results was Razorback Hitman, Celestia, Croakitoad, Fuse for Spins, and Signified as your top 5. And Razorback Hitman would win this race with a margin of victory of 12.684 seconds. And that's just road courses. That's just road racing. We talk about it when we actually talk about NASCAR. Road courses are not my cup of tea. I don't like them. There's not enough going on for me to keep interest. So, with that, the standings would change up a little bit. We have Fuse for Spins, Signify still number 1, number 2, with 0 wins, by the way. They're in first, second, so stage points that you have to look out for. Celestia would move into that 3rd position. Croakitoad at 4th. Puddle Duck drops to 5th. Asturial 6th. Queen Salvi 7th. Razorback Hitman 8th. NASA Powerlifting 9th. And OG Brad Vickers rounds out the top 10 at number 10. And that would take us to our next race at Phoenix, which, Tad, it's about to get wild for a few of us. So I hope you're ready. Fuse for Spins would get the pole. Razorback Hitman number 2. Celestia 3, Cygnus 5, 4, and Croakitoad 5. That's your top 5 qualifiers. And here we go. Fuse for Spins would control the race from the start. Jumped out early and looked like the car to beat. Razorback Hitman stayed close after starting second, while Celestia, Signify, Croakitoad, and Puddle Duck kept the top 6 packed together. Fuse for Spins would go on to dominate the stage and take the win. Major incident number 1. The first major drama hit shortly after stage 1. Indo Girl 1982 got loose entering the corner while racing near the edge of the lead lap traffic and slid up into Razorback Hitman. Razorback Hitman had nowhere to go and got turned hard into the outside wall. The COTA winner went from championship momentum to a destroyed race car, and he would be finishing with a DNF. Razorback Hitman was furious over the radio, saying Indo drove through the corner like the brake pedal was optional. All right. Well, sticking with the Indo Girl trend, major incident number 2, Indo Girl spins Roxas out of the race. Her rough day somehow got worse. Later in stage 2, Roxas tried to clear Indo Girl off the corner. She stayed in the throttle, made contact, and sent Roxas spinning down the track. Roxas backed hard into the inside wall and was done for the day. After everything that happened at Atlanta between Roxas and Indo Girl, this one felt personal. Roxas climbed out of the car and immediately pointed back to her team. Officials were already watching the situation closely. Major incident number 3. And if we couldn't get any worse for Indo Girl, here we go again. Right before the stage 2 break, Coke Soda Can had seen enough. As the field stacked up, coming to the stage finish, Coke Soda Can got into the back of Indo Girl 1982 and sent her around. Indo Girl slid into the wall and collected enough damage to end her race. She had taken out Razorback Hitman and Roxas and then got dumped before the stage ended. The garage was split. Some called it payback, others called it over the line, and your stage 2 winner would go on to be Celestia. Final stage. While the chaos was happening, WTF Chalk started working forward. After being blamed at Daytona, cleared at Atlanta, steady at COTA, WTF Chalk finally had a car capable of winning. She climbed in the top 5 late, while Croakitoad, Fuse for Spin, Signify, Celestia, and Hype all battled up front. With 10 laps to go, the front 5 were Croakitoad, Hype, WTF Chalk, Fuse for Spins, and Celestia. Croakitoad looked like he had control, but WTF Chalk was lurking. Final turn controversy. Coming to the final corner, Croakitoad led with Hype underneath him, and WTF Chalk were right behind both of them. Croakitoad checked up slightly to protect the middle. Hype tried to force the inside, and WTF Chalk said screw it and sent it. She got into the back of both cars. Croakitoad slid up the track. Hype got turned sideways. WTF Chalk straightened out and drove off the corner and would take the win at Phoenix. The crowd went nuts, and the garage went nuclear. So WTF Chalk would take Phoenix, Fuse for spin second, Celestia third, Signified fourth, and Croakitoad and Hype would drop to fifth and sixth. And that would that was a lot of controversy there. So, and that would lead to our updated standings of Fuse for spins first, Signified second, Celestia third. No changes really. Croakitoad fourth. So no major changes really. One thing to note, it's good to see Zazarus actually showing up to races after his no-show Daytona. Let me just throw that out there.
It's great to have a ride.
You didn't show up, man. I mean,
hey, I would have been top 10 in Daytona if I was put in. Just say.
All right, our last race we're going to talk about today is the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The qualifying top 5 will be Signified, Fuse for Spin, Celestia, Puddle Duck, and Croakitoad. I don't know if you've seen a trend here, but a lot of the same drivers have been qualifying really good. Early race, Signified and Fuse for spins controlled the pace. Pole sitter Signified fired off strong and immediately showed race-winning speed. Fuse for spins stayed right with them, while Celestia, Puddle Duck, and Croakitoad worked inside the top 5. The first run looked like another battle between the same championship favorites. Your stage 1 winner is Signified. The first big storyline hit early when Hype got into WTF Chalk while racing just outside the top 10. WTF Chalk snapped loose and spun through the apron, but somehow avoided major damage. Unlike Phoenix, she did not get taken out of contention. She pitted for tires, restarted deep, and began charging back to the field. At first, the crowd thought her day was done. Instead, it became one of the best recovery drives of the race. Mid-race chaos, we have the rivalry between Scorpios and Wizard Boss 12 finally reaching a breaking point. Around halfway, the two were racing side by side when Scorpios crowded Wizard Boss into the wall off turn 4. Wizard Boss immediately retaliated going into turn 1, hooking Scorpios across the nose. Both cars slammed the outside wall and slid back across the track, and both of them would finish with a DNF. That didn't end there. After climbing out of the cars, the two men on the track apron started shoving, and within seconds, punches were thrown before officials and safety crews pulled them apart. This rivalry has gone from heated to dangerous, and we should be expecting penalties. Stage 2, Fuse for spins grabs points. Croakitoad starts. You dirty-minded people don't say nothing. Fuse for spins grabs points. Croakitoad starts coming. After the chaos, Fuse for spins took control and won stage 2, but the long run speed was starting to shift. The Croakitoad car came alive after adjustments. By the final stage, Croakitoad looked like the most balanced car in traffic and clean air. And then Revenge Chain. Here we go. This was the biggest. I'm going to take a line from JR. This is the biggest slobber knocker of the race right here. Late in the race, Endo Girl 1982 found Coke Soda Can in traffic. After Coke Soda Can wrecked her at Phoenix, Endo did not wait long for payback. Going into turn 3, Endo drove deep into the corner and clipped Coke Soda Can, sending the 77 into the wall. Coke Soda Can would finish with a DNF. But Endo's payback move immediately created another problem. A few laps later, Roxas got to Endo's bumper. After Endo wrecked him at Phoenix, Roxas returned the favor hard. The number 6 got into the number 9, entering the corner, and Endo's car snapped around violently into the outside wall. The impact was heavy enough to bring out an immediate red flag, and she would be finishing this race with a DNF. She was helped from the car and transported to the hospital for evaluation with a reported neck injury. I kid you not, that is what happened. This is all AI generated. It's just this. I'm just here reporting it. Roxas was angry, but the mood changed fast once officials saw the severity of the crash. This feud just became one of the biggest stories in the league. On the final restart, the top 5 were Croakitoad, Signified, Fuse for Spins, Puddle Duck, and WTF Chalk. Signified tried to pressure Croakitoad on the restart, but Croakitoad got the launch of the race. Fuse for Spins and Puddle Duck fought side by side behind them, which let Croakitoad build a gap. WTF Chalk, despite being spun earlier, climbed into the top 5 and stayed there. Over the final 20 laps, Croakitoad managed the gap perfectly. Signified got close once, but never close enough to make a move. Croakitoad wins at Las Vegas. And after that, your updated standings. Yeah. Your updated standings with still 0 wins. Fuse for Spence and Signified at 1 and 2. Celestia at number 3. Croakitoad number 4. Puddle Duck number 5. Through 5 races, we have had 5 different winners. And those stage points really rack it up for Spence and Signified to keep them in 1 and 2. Fuse for Spence has 256 points. Signified 249. Celestia 237. Croakitoad 235, Puddle Duck 218, Astria 189, Queen Savi 182, Ness Powerlifting 165, Razorback Hitman 146, and rounding out the top 10, OG Brad Vigors with 143 points.
All right. Well, now you know how I feel when I do the CPW report. Take a journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of storylines there. Lots to unpack. Let us know in the comments or in the Discord what you like, what you heard there. Sounds like a lot of stuff got it's almost like hashtag the AI knows or something.
Yeah.
All right. That's your Croakitoad Cup Series report there from Raji. He'll be back next episode to bring our next race. That he did 4 races, so he's caught up with where he needs to be now. So now for
we're gonna be doing multiple races next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, excuse me. I finished off with Las Vegas. So I have to do yeah, I'm still down 7 races because they're at Charlotte, and that was Las Vegas was 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 races ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, more next week. Okay, we're going to switch over to NASCAR, over to wrestling news. First, I wasn't going to do this, but I figured, yeah, we'll go ahead and do it. Just real quickly, go over the Monday Night Raw results and Friday Night SmackDown from the previous week. I would like to actually kind of do this regularly, even if I will admit right now I don't usually sit here and watch the show. I would like to kind of keep one eye on it anyway, moving forwards, just to... because I know a lot of our listeners, podcast listeners, do watch the wrestling regularly. So we'll just kind of touch into it a little bit. But for Monday Night Raw, May 11th, the Street Profits came out, had a promo with the Vision, and Austin Theory, Logan Paul, obviously the tag team champions right now. Joe Hendry came out and was basically memeing Logan Paul, which he's been doing lately with his guitar, song, and dance. But that kind of kicked off Raw. Then our first match saw the Street Profits and Joe Hendry teaming up following that promo in against the Vision in a 6-man tag. And we had Braun Breaker involved in that as well from the Vision. So 3-on-3 tag there. And then after that, we had a Intercontinental Champion. That wasn't for the title, was it? I think it was non-title. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't a match. It wasn't a match. Okay. We had Penta and Javon Evans clearing the ring of Ethan Page and Rusev, and it was a face-to-face. But then we had a match. I didn't know if Penta was actually in the match or not. I guess he wasn't. We had Javon Evans defeating Rusev again. Poor Rusev, man. I said it several episodes ago, man. He's just like the most underutilized just wrestler in main companies in the past, like, 10 years. My God. I actually kind of feel bad for Rusev, to be honest. It's just, at least he's got a contract, you know. But then we had a heartfelt goodbye between Asuka and Io Sky. Of course, those rumors are going around that we talked about it last week, that Asuka is basically done with WWE. She's going back to Japan for various reasons. I'm not sure if that was ever clarified or not, but looks like they're kind of hinting at this with these behind the scenes vignettes and stuff, like basically acting like Asuka's on her way out. Then the next segment we had on Raw was the Judgment Day laid waste to the women's tag team champions, Paige and Brie Bella. So of course we had Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel coming out there and taking care of business in the ring. Then we had a one-on-one match, Io Sky defeating Sol Ruka in a one-on-one match. I would actually like to go back and watch that. I'm sure it was very athletic and really impressive, because those two can do some pretty amazing things. That's if Io Sky's not diving out of the ring onto her head. But yeah, Io Sky defeating Sol Ruka there on Raw. Then we had Oba Femi taking on Los Garza. It was a 2-on-1 match, I guess. Of course, we have Oba Femi doing the open challenge, so he's taking on all comers, and I guess he just squashed Los Garza in this 2-on-1 match as they continue to make Oba Femi like this monster beast in WWE, which isn't too hard to do, to be honest. But then we had Dominic Mysterio defeating the original El Grande Americano in a AAA Mega Championship match. And of course, the Americana is still involved in their little squabble going on, the original and the new one, of course. But Dominic Mysterio thrown in the middle of this, and also involving the AAA brand here on Raw, which is really cool. If you had told me that the Monday Night Raw was actually going to acknowledge AAA like 20 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, right. But now it's just like, yeah, AAA on Raw. Pretty wild how things change. And then I guess to end off our Monday Night Raw, we had Roman Reigns with an acknowledgement ceremony as Jacob Fatu came out, and it was just a bunch of different stuff going on, just a big brawl. We had the OTC, Jimmy and Jey Uso all involved. And I feel like we're continuing this rivalry between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu here. So I guess Backlash wasn't the end of it. They're going to keep this thing going, whether they include all the other participants and cast of characters or just kind of keep it between them. I don't know, but obviously OTC and Jimmy and Jay were involved. So I guess they're going to keep this Samoan thing going here as the peak Raw moment. But that's basically what happened on Monday Night Raw. Just a brief synopsis here. Grem, do you have anything to add to Raw at all? Does anything stand out, or you want to move to SmackDown?
I mean, no, it was pretty standard except for the Asuka thing, which is again just completely just wild, and I don't want to say out of character, but like it.
Is there any context to this at all? Because I didn't watch the segment. Or are they just like basically assuming that everyone knows and they're just going with it?
Yeah, I think they're just assuming that everyone knows and they're just going with it at this point. It's just unique though, because I'm wondering if WWE even knew that this was going to happen, or if Asuka just kind of sprung it on them and be like, hey, you know, I've done so much for you guys, and you know, gone through the pandemic and everything. It's like, you guys owe me this. And she just was like, I'm just done. And again, seeing the Street Profits back in the tag team title picture is very, very nice. I feel bad for Garza and Berto though against Oba. But other than that, it was kind of funny. But I still feel bad that they were the ones on the receiving end of that.
They got fed.
They did. I mean, you got to keep Oba strong, brother. I did like the Judgment Day kind of posing with the titles and everything. They need to try to start making, you know, Judgment Day a bit stronger, and it's hard to do when, you know, you have those three right there, and it's not hard to do with those three, but on the male side you have JD and Dom, and that's it, and you don't have that big, you know, force, if you will, like a Damian Priest, that it kind of hovers around there. Even like a name with Finn. You know, Finn was a strong wrestler. So I'm imagining they're gonna have someone come in. I know they've been doing the tease with Finn and Roxanne, kind of, you know, trying to get Roxanne to break away from the group. And we talked about this, what was it, maybe like a month or so ago, with Mania and everything, with Raquel trying to break away. And honestly, she should be the one who breaks away. I don't think it's Roxanne. I really feel like Raquel needs to kind of break away. She's been killing it on the mic. She's gotten her wrestling back to where, like, again, we were talking about too, like Kevin Nash saying, like, she has to work big, and she is doing that. I really feel like a face turn for her would go over very, very well, and it needs to happen. But I see why they're trying to tease it and try to keep the eyes off of Raquel and more so on Roxanne, and be like, well, she's going to be the one who turns, because obviously everything's going on that way. But
I'm gonna ask you a serious question here, and think of this in a way of like, you don't watch wrestling and you see this picture here. Just looking at these three, don't you think it'd be far more impressive to see Raquel in Liv Morgan's spot and Liv Morgan in the other spot, and then Raquel in the middle holding the title, the singles title?
Yeah, and I think what you do is with that pick. To answer your question, yes, but in this picture as well, when you finally tell someone, yeah, Raquel, the tall one, she's just potentially tag team champion. She's not that right now, but and that's what, and they're like, why? Like she could easily squash like both of these two.
I don't understand why she's not on the same level as Rhea Ripley or Jade Cargill, because she needs to be there.
I think and that's why I was kind of leading towards the whole like face turn with Raquel, because I feel like they have to do it correctly in order for it to really hit hard. And a match between Liv and Raquel, like even at SummerSlam for the title, would be really, really good. It just doesn't seem like they're going to pull the trigger that early. And it still boggles me because, like I said, she's been doing excellent work. She deserves to go up basically on her own. I think she can hang. I think she can handle it.
I think she can too. What you're basically trying to say is they've already painted her into this corner. Now they're trying to get her out. So
kind of, but I also think too maybe they don't want to make it so blunt. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, Raquel's gonna be changing right now. It's gonna take like a miscue in the tag team matchup when they're going for the titles, where Raquel maybe gets hit by Roxanne or Liv by mistake or something like that, and that's when the tension starts to build. But I think they want to kind of divert it away first and kind of make you forget that she was kind of turning face and have this Roxanne thing, because it makes sense because Finn brought Roxanne into the Judgment Day. So it makes sense for Finn to try to get her out kind of deal.
I guess I'm kind of old school. I guess not old school, but like new age WWE old school, where when I think of the New Day, I think of like the beginning days of like Edge and Rhea Ripley. And now I see New Day, and this is okay. It's almost kind of
Judgment Day. The Judgment Day.
Not New Day.
They're no longer WWE.
Yeah, my mind was already thinking of the next thing I was going to say, but yeah, thank you for correcting me on that. But it's almost like to me, it's almost like an NWO thing. It's like we started. We had the NWO in '96, and it was like the peak NWO. '97 still pretty good. Then by the time we get to like '99, 2000, it's like this is the NWO. I feel like that's what we got with the new caught myself, the Judgment Day right now.
There you go. Yeah, agreed. And that's just it. Like you have to bring in some big force, though, I think, to really make the judgment. But like, I don't know who you would bring in. Like, I don't think there's anyone on the roster currently right now that would make it happen. I mean, if Edge was to come back, like that could do it. And then you'd be like, all right. And then Edge finally is the one who, like, I don't want to say destroys Judgment Day, basically. And then we can all kind of move on. You know, they can all go their separate ways and change it up. And everyone's better because they were a part of it.
Well, I know who's not going to be joining, and that's not the New Day, because they have been released.
Yes, they have. And I think they're extremely happy, according to reports.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right, moving on. SmackDown, May 15th. We had Trick Williams' homecoming. He is, of course, the United States champion. The Miz tried to come out and do a bunch of stuff, and it led to a match. Trick Williams defeating the Miz to kick off SmackDown. There was a bunch of hubbub and stuff between those two, so I guess they're building towards Miz and Trick Williams now for the U.S. belt. I'm not sure if Danhausen's still going to be involved with the Miz. Maybe that program's over now and he's moved on to other stuff, but looks like Miz is next in line for U.S., just judging by this right now. Then the next thing we had, Brie Bella and Paige, who are the tag champs, defeating Julia and Kiana James. Wow, they've really just kind of dropped the ball on Julia lately, haven't they? Man, when she first came in NXT, she was like the big news right there with what's the other lady with the horns? Vakir.
Oh, Vakir.
Yeah. They had Julia and Stephanie Vakir, and they kind of like piggybacked off each other in the huge news for NXT for WWE, and now Julia is just losing tag matches on SmackDown. So see where that went. Hopefully they get her back up again. But yeah, Brie Bella and Paige defeating Julia and Kiana James in a tag match there. Then after that, we had Royce Keys, who's finally on television now after a few weeks. Of course, he showed up in that, what was that, that Saudi Rumble match for the first time ever. And then he hasn't been featured in months. And now they finally started bringing him back. And now he's here, getting involved into Gunther and Cody Rhodes' segment here. On paper, I like this. Royce Keys and Gunther face to face, smashing into each other. Okay, yeah, sign me up for this. I think this could be good. But it's going to be interesting to see how he interferes with the whole thing with the Gunther and the Cody Rhodes. So we'll see where that direction leads us. Then after that, we had Carmelo Hayes defeating Ricky Saints in singles action. I'm sure that was a really, really great match there. Very athletic, two athletic guys. After that, we had Damian Priest defeating Tama Tonga. Another singles match, and R-Truth is not medically cleared, so I guess he can't wrestle right now. So one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions, Damian Priest, taking on Tama Tonga, one-on-one match. Looks like Solo Sikoa came out, and they 2-on-1 Damian Priest because R-Truth wasn't there, obviously. After that, we had a segment with Charlotte Flair and Alexis Bliss, who are still teaming up, and looks like they're now going after Jade Cargill. Maybe Grem can correct me here in a bit, but I'm not seeing any Rhea Ripley here, so I guess it's the focus is turned over to Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair when it comes to Jade Cargill right here. But then we had a match, Charlotte and Alexa defeating Michin and B-Fab via disqualification. So I guess they've changed it from Rhea Ripley over to Charlotte and Alexa, give them something to do there. And then our last segment of the night was Gunther defeating Royce Keys to become the number one contender. Okay, so that's what that led up to. Okay, I see. It was a number one contendership match. How funny would it be if they actually pulled the trigger on Royce Keys and had him defeat Gunther? That'd be hilarious. After months of not seeing him, and then he comes in the main event. Now he's getting a shot against Cody Rhodes. I mean, come on, at least make it. That's wrestling for you. Like Royce Keys was really going to win. I mean, on paper, you're not watching the show. You're like me. You're like, okay, yeah, this looks like a pretty good match. But of course, if you're into it, you're watching, you're paying attention to the storyline. You know what's going to happen. You're obviously like, well, there's no way Royce Keys is going to win. It's obviously Gunther and Cody. But yeah, looks like Solo Sikoa got involved in this as well, which is good that they softened the blow that Royce Keys would actually lose to Gunther here in the main event. So it gives Royce Keys something to do, maybe with Solo Sikoa. That could be also a really fun match too, Solo and Royce Keys. So I guess I can, if you're going to have them lose like this, which you shouldn't be, you're supposed to be building them like Obafemi over on Raw, but you know, whatever. At least it cushions the blow a little bit here in our main event and last segment of SmackDown. But yeah, that's your SmackDown report from last week. Kind of brief running through it. Graham, you have anything to add to that, or we want to switch over to our next news?
Yeah, real quick. I think Rhea was kind of teaming up with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. So that's kind of why they're kind of showing Jade kind of with Charlotte, and it tends to kind of tease it for later down the road. But I still think the focus is Jade and Rhea.
Okay, she just wasn't on the show.
Yeah, Carmelo Hayes coming back. I believe he was potentially injured, but he's back now. Him winning over Ricky Saints makes a lot of sense. I know he's new, Ricky Saints, but that makes a lot of sense. Julia, sadly, she needs to not be in the tag team division. I think that would help her out immensely. So she really needs to break away from Kiana James, I feel. Or just make it so that James isn't really wrestling as much and just focusing on Julia's like single career. I think that's where she's gonna shine better. The whole Trick Williams and the Miz thing, I will find it funny that if Danhausen tries to start helping Trick, because again, technically it's like a 2-on-1 with Kit Wilson. And then all of a sudden it leads to like a fatal 4-way with all four of them for the U.S. title. I think that would be funny. I think that would be great. I think it'll give Danhausen something to do. To get back to like the Royce Keys and Gunther thing too, obviously it was going to be Gunther because Cody's the face, so you couldn't really have two faces for a title. But I'm glad again, that what they did was they gave Royce Keys something. You know, it wasn't just, oh, you're just going to lose to Gunther and that's it. You're moving on. At least it was, hey, you're going to be kind of in a thing with Solo. It'll work for Solo and it'll work for you, and it's a big muscle guy against basically the MTF or whatever's left of it. And I think that's going to help kind of get Royce Keys going in the direction that WWE is hoping to get him going in, and it is a good start. I like it. I am interested in Keys versus Solo. I think that would be great. I think that match will be really, really great. And yeah, other than that, everything else is pretty much kind of status quo. Again, though, Julia, I don't think this needs to be in the tag team division. I think ultimately she just needs to break away from Kiana. I feel, though, that she would have to be the face, and I think she can kind of get that whole Io Sky thing going, where if she breaks away as a face and kind of gets something to get the fans just behind her, and with Io doing the crazy thing, you know what I mean, the hands. If she had something like that where she kind of turns face and, you know, fans are like going with what she's doing, I think that'll help her in the long run. And then again, she could be in that picture with like Rhea and, you know, Jade Cargill, where you're fighting for the women's championship. So other than that, though, yeah, pretty okay SmackDown. Actually, a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, looking at the matches, other than me disagreeing with the whole Julia just being wasted, seems pretty good. It looks like it's kind of a follow-up from Backlash and kind of new chapters being established and filling in holes moving forwards for championships and stuff. So, yeah, and utilizing Royce Keys, of course. So, yeah, seems like a pretty good show just from looking at this on paper. But Julia definitely needs to get... What are they doing?
Yeah, they, like I said, they just gotta
with the whole Asuka thing, and you know what, they may be doing this for Asuka just to have her do this giant heel turn and just trick everybody and kayfabe everybody. So I could see them totally doing that, and I think it would work. Asuka would do that great. Everyone like feeling sorry for her. Oh, she's leaving. She's about to leave, and then she turns around and pulls like a Mark Henry pink suit. Yeah, I think she could pull that off amazingly. Yes. But that being said, if that's actually is what's going to happen, why don't we have Julia fill in that role over there that Asuka has? I mean, I think she'd be great in that role over there. They have that history.
As a heel or a face?
I think you have land to work with going both sides. I'm just saying, like, give her something to do and then fill it out later. Just anything would be better than where she's just getting stagnant here. And at least because over there in that role, she's got the history with them, Japan, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, like, what does this leave Io? Like, I think that's why they're kind of like dragging their feet with this too, because they're like, well, what do we got for Io now? It's going to be Asuka, and now all of a sudden it's not. So you're right. Like, throwing Julia over there probably would not be the worst idea in the world.
At least they have something in common, you know? It makes sense.
Exactly. Yes.
Rather than being in a random tag team on SmackDown losing.
Yeah, and now that you've gotten rid of Kairi Sane, like, I mean, there's no one there for Io. Rhea is on SmackDown, so she's lost her friend there. So Julia can be that friend, if you will, and then just kind of see how that works.
Definitely give her a more important role than what she has now. That's for sure. All right, well, that's our SmackDown report as well. We're going to move over, staying on the topic of wrestling. And of course, we do like to follow Danhausen here on the podcast. I noticed he's, unless we just missed something there, we're noticeably absent from Raw and SmackDown this last week. Maybe it's because of this, but news broke on social media that are we sure this is actually legitimate? Like, is this actually a thing, or is this a troll? But let me see what it is first for our listeners. News broke out, at least I saw news here, about Danhausen being cast in the Batman Part 2. Of course, that's the newest Batman with what's his name, Robert Pattinson, I believe, is the Batman now for DC, and that obviously is coming out. But I saw this on social media. I didn't fact check before we got to this point. This could all just be one giant troll, but if he's actually cast in this, that'd be hilarious. But nevertheless, even if it is a meme, I wanted to bring attention to this, but
yeah, apparently the podcast people, the same podcast you're seeing this from, did state that they were lying.
Yeah, it is not true.
Well, you know what? I just gave them some free. We haven't said their name yet, but all you have to do is look on X and search. So I got fooled. No, I got kayfabe. Damn it. Okay, well, Danhausen will not be cast in Batman Part 2. Wah, wah.
Yeah, Danhausen did lean into the joke on social media, claiming that he was cast to play the part or the character.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
But Batmite. He was going to be Batmite, not Batman.
Bathausen.
Yes. So
I'm trying to find his follow up to that. If he, yes, there it is. May 14th. He replied back. Danhausen is playing Batmite. Yeah.
So
very nice, very fake.
Staying on the wrestling news, I'm just going to throw a little tidbit out there. It has nothing to do with what we just talked about. But on this day in history, back in 1963, Bruno Sammartino would beat Buddy Rogers in New York City to become the WWF champ.
There you go. Bruno Sammartino, one of the best world champions in the Northeast Territory. Probably the most recognizable world champion from the Northeastern New York Territory, I would say. Right up there with Hogan and maybe Bob Backlund. I don't know. Bruno was a whole nother level, though, with those fans back in those days.
Backlund had it for a while, so I'd put him there too.
Yeah. All right, that's wrestling. Let's move over to UFC. We had a very interesting fight that I don't think we even talked about on this podcast, but we'll bring it up here. This took place when was this yesterday? This was last night, wasn't it?
Yep, this was last night.
Last night on Netflix, I believe. Yeah, it was because I had a wish listed on my Netflix. We had a special fight. I don't think this was under any main league banner. It was just a show. I'm not really sure.
No, this was promoted by the Jake Paul's MVP promotions.
Okay, MVP. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But we had Ronda Rousey coming back.
Very few notable UFC people took place.
Right. But yeah, we had Ronda Rousey taking on Gina Carano. We saw the lead up to this with her getting at least I did, and getting into the ice baths and getting prepared and getting back into training again. Obviously, both these ladies haven't been like full-time fighters in many years. So this was kind of like a what if scenario to get people's eyes over to it in 2026. And now that you say it has something to do with Jake Paul, it makes sense. Obviously, we saw the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Actually, I sat in the living room with my dad watching that on Netflix, and all the memes that came out of that was the Netflix buffering. I wonder if they had Netflix buffering during this last night. But yeah, we actually have the 20. So the big, why we're even bringing this up is because Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano was literally a 20-second fight. And we'll watch the video real quick from start to finish, from bell ring to tap out. And then I will give my thoughts real quick.
The first of the scheduled 5 rounds at 145 pounds. Immediately, Rousey takes Carano down, but Carano looking for the guillotine. And Rousey pops her head out in full mount, ground and pound. Rousey looking for the arm, and already the arm, it's over. Mamma mia, it is just
There you go, 20 seconds. The bell rings, she shoots in. She takes her down. She's got her in the guillotine. Ronda gets out, pops her in the face a couple times, locks in a cross armbar. And that's it. That's GG, game over. I've seen some comments about people saying, yeah, take the money. You go, girls, grab the money. My response to that is if you pause the video on when she's got that arm, oh my God. All you have to do, if anyone listening, if you have a vested interest in this, if you think that was a, GG girls, you get that dough, pause the video when she's got that arm cross locked on and look at Gina's arm. Ronda Rousey is not WWEing this. She's going to pop that arm up. She had no choice to tap out. I know everyone's disappointed and it was only 20 seconds. They said round 1 of 5 rounds. Yeah, that didn't age well, did it, Mr. Commentator? But yeah, 20 seconds, Ronda Rousey just completely just in 2 moves wins. It was almost like you played a WWE or even a UFC game and had a 100 overall versus a 2 overall. It was just simple, blink and you missed it. I feel bad for people when this match started. You know, they're like, oh, real quick, you know, nothing's going to happen in round 1. I'm going to go use the bathroom real quick, or get another Coke or beer or something. Come back and it's already over. You know, feel sorry for you that missed it. But yeah, that's the match. Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, 20 seconds. I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. Raji, what do you have any thoughts about what this was all about?
Well, let me give you some statistics for Ronda Rousey. Okay. This was her 15th fight in her MMA career. Out of all 15, only 2 of them made it out of the first round. And 13 of these now didn't make it past the first minute. So this is just her shtick. She does not waste time.
This is her
She goes
gimmick,
in,
yeah.
yeah, she targets what she wants, and she gets it. The last fight that went out of the first round, she lost, and it was a head kick KO from Holly Holm. And then she went on her comeback fight. She lost within the first minute to Amanda Nunes. So even in defeat, her gimmick is to not go more than a minute. So
You
yeah,
said
that's just Ronda Rousey.
you said Ronda Rousey has had 15 lifetime MMA fights. What about Gina? How many has she had?
Let me get that information quick.
All right, while you're digging it up, Grem, do you have any thoughts about the 20-second match between Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano ending in an arm breaker?
I mean, this is like how it can be when it comes to boxing too, right? If it's like 20, 25 seconds, it can happen where, you know, it's going to be this quick. You're right, though. Like, the position of her arm and basically, you know, Ronda twerking it. Have a good night. All that is just...
Were you telling that to Gina? Have a good night?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much. She had no choice but to tap out. I mean, it's unfortunate because, again, they have to build this up. But it's the same thing with boxing. They back in the day, they used to build this up, and, you know, if it ends in 20 seconds or 30 seconds or even 5 seconds, like it's just how it is. So, you know, I mean, Ronda looks great though. I mean, that's insane. Like, I don't know if you know, Dana's pondering maybe making a phone call or 2 and maybe having her come back on like one little tour for UFC. But I mean, she looks like she could still go, like, hands down, and just do what she needed to do, or do what she normally would have done in UFC, you know?
I feel like whatever Ronda ends up getting in her lap is because that's what Ronda wants to do. I don't think it's the other way around.
She actually said that she's not coming back to competition. She's wanting to have more kids. I mean, I don't know if that was post-fight interview.
She's kind of like Brock Lesnar to W. Brock gonna do what Brock gonna do. Ronda gonna do what Ronda gonna do.
Yeah. So Gina Carano, that's actually her 9th fight.
Okay.
She started her, and again, it's been 17 years from her last fight.
Mm-hmm.
Her last fight was a loss against Chris Cyborg back in 2009.
Oh,
in a first round KO.
That's a name.
At the bell.
Yeah, Cyborg
but she
was
came
beast.
in. She came onto the world in 2006. She was on a 7-fight winning streak until she ran a Chris Cyborg, and that was her last fight. She was 7-1, and now she's 7-2.
All right.
But also, another thing, I don't know if we touched on this. She had to go through a lot to get ready for this fight.
Yes,
I believe she lost over 100 pounds. Had to shake off 17 years worth of cage rust, because, you know, taking a break that long, you just gotta go through strenuous training to get it back to where you think you're comfortable enough to take on someone like Ronda Rousey, who is, her whole gimmick is to end this as fast as you can.
I was kind of following along with her journey a little bit. Gina's, that is, like I said, I was watching her dip into the ice baths and having to lose all the weight and get back into the gym and stuff, because she was in the Mandalorian there for a while and doing a bunch of acting and stuff. And so obviously the last thing on her mind was getting back into the octagon again. Why does she need to do that? She's having a career in acting. So yeah, I'm sure it was a lot harder for her to get back acclimated back to this kind of situation than it was for Ronda Rousey, who looks like she basically just stopped fighting yesterday, and then, obviously her career as a wrestler in WWE and stuff. And then her this is the second time we talked about Ronda Rousey. We talked about her showing up in AEW, and then she never came back.
Yep.
So second time Ronda Rousey has hit the Talk podcast.
Like we said. Actually, we touched on this fight too then, because I remember talking about how she's not really going to do anything because she's got this fight coming up. She's focused on. So we did touch on a little bit, and here's the payoff: 17 seconds.
All right. Well, hopefully they both made a lot of money off of this, and hopefully, especially Gina got a nice bounty from this, because she, even if she did lose in 20 seconds, and people might just on the surface be like, wow, she lost in 20. She went through a lot to get back in there, and she could have said no. There's always no, but she said no, let's do it. So you know what, my hat's off to Gina Carano, and you know what, to a certain extent also Ronda Rousey as well. The wrestling fan of me, but you know what, my hat's off to them. I hope they made a lot of bank and they had fun. It seems like they did, because the post-match kind of got some news too about how they reacted after the match was over. But you can tell there's no frustrations, there's no lingering hatred or anything. They're friends, and they were in this together. So,
which is polar opposite from everything we've seen in UFC. It was all animosity, even leading up to the fights and after the fights, and this one was complete polar opposite. But she still did not hesitate to almost break her arm. So
no, I mean, we've been paused on this. We've been paused on this still frame from the fight for the ever since we started talking about this, and that is not where I would want my arm. That position, I wouldn't want my arm in that position. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, that is the fight between Ronda and Gina, and that'll wrap up our sports. So all we have left now is to talk about Croakitoad. And so we'll do that right here this week in Croakitoad. My streams, we're going to go back to, I believe 6 days ago. I guess we recorded the podcast and I went to stream, I suppose. We just did, actually, there's going to be a running theme of what Croakitoad Gaming was doing all throughout this previous week. And that's just a bunch of multiplayer, really. But we did end up trying out Pratfall for the first time 6 days ago, on May 11th. And we had a big stack of people, actually. We had like 12, 15 people in the lobby, which was really awesome. Unfortunately, my time in the game was cut short due to frame rate issues on my computer, which is also going to be another reoccurring theme that I'm going to be talking about here. So I was only running at like 4 FPS on this game. So my first time actually jumping in the Pratfall, was not able to actually enjoy the full experience of being around a bunch of people just digging downwards in this new game. We tried to get it fixed and everything, and then we did a little bit of Super Battle Golf as well, myself and Lady Lavin, just the two of us. And I think that game will be a lot of fun when you have a lot more people involved in that. So looking forward to giving that a shot and trying that out as well. We'll skip Tuesday because we'll get to the CPW report in a second. But then on May 15th, which would have been Friday, we did Fortnite and DBD, and I believe on this night we did Overwatch the night. Did we? Yeah, we did Overwatch. No, we did Overwatch a few days. Never mind what I said about Overwatch. All right, so we did Fortnite and DBD on the May 15th stream. Fortnite was a lot just like Overwatch before on May 9th. It was a lot of fun to get back in Fortnite again. We didn't play any of the typical PvP and shooting modes. We just did hours of the Rock Band mode. I turned the vocals on to my microphone instead of controller vocals, and so that was a lot of fun just to do karaoke. Kind of brought me back to when Twitch things was a thing, but then you get to play with 3 other friends on Fortnite as well. So that was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed doing that again. I've always been a fan of that Rock Band mode, and I hope they never get rid of that in Fortnite. And of course, it got me to spend more of my money on Epic Games because I bought a few more songs. Shout out to Welcome to the Jungle and Cream. So yeah, 2 more songs out of my library for that. And then after that, we did a little bit of DBD. I believe we were playing with Roxas and Lady Lavin and Coke on that, just doing a little bit of 2v8 while that DVD mode is out. Just a few rounds of that, little bit of fun there. And then last night, which would have been the 16th, That would have been Saturday, multiplayer night. Actually, it was like multiplayer week. We did a little bit of peak, fun little mode. Actually, we started off with repo because they added the new cosmetic stuff for repo. So we were checking that out, seeing if we could unlock any brand new cosmetics in repo. But unfortunately, how that works in repo is you have to like find the box and collect it and put it in the cart and actually get out with the box. And then that will unlock the cosmetic. It's not like you level up to unlock this or you get enough money to buy this. You actually have to find the cosmetic out in the world in repo and bring it, exfil it back with you. Almost like a kind of like a Tarkov kind of thing there, where you have to bring it back with you or you die and you lose it. After that, we did some peak. We kind of messed around with the settings a little bit, did like different kind of biomes, messed around with, instead of grabbing and helping, turning the kick feature on. And oh my God, there were so many clips. There was probably like 12 clips from that last night. So much fun, so much laughter, kicking people off the side of the peak and stuff. That's definitely been one of the more reoccurring themes here lately and for our gaming as a community. But peak was a lot of fun, as it always is. And now that they added all those custom features there where you can turn this on, turn that off, and then really like kind of change the game exactly how you would like to play it based on the time that you have to play it is really a lot of fun. And then, yeah, just like kicking people off into the kiln and stuff, and me getting kicked off into the kiln and every other literally place. It seems like my plan was to kick other people off of high places, but I was the one being kicked off from high places by everybody. So yes, fun. And then after that, we did some pratfall. We tried to dig down again. This time FPS was working the entire time, so it was a lot of fun. Played with Lady Lavin and Roxas and OG Brad Vickers. I think Zazarus and Asterial were there for one round before that. But yeah, pratfall, also really a lot of fun. Yeah, it's slowly working its charm on me, man. I don't think it's quite up there yet with peak yet, but pratfall is definitely climbing up there. No pun, climbing down there, I guess I should say. Every time I play pratfall, I learn to really appreciate it and have a lot of fun with it each time I jump into it. So looking forward to playing more of that and finally getting to the bottom legitimately to rescue your dog down at the very bottom. But yeah, that was your week in Croakitoad. We'll switch over to the CPW report now. Let me dig that up real quick. Hopefully it doesn't bring up no, it didn't. Okay, good. Let me bring up the results from this week's Croakitoad Pro Wrestling E-Fed show taking place on May 12th. And this is what we had on the show. For Croakitoad Pro Wrestling E-Fed show, we had the opening match was Puppy defeating Simon Crow. Of course, Puppy is our new Young Lions champion. He defeated Disco Bunny back at the big one, and now Puppy took on Simon Crow in a singles match. And ever since Simon Crow showed up the week prior to this show, he's definitely changed. He's like the quote-unquote pet. I don't know if you want to say quote-unquote slave to Disco Bunny. Maybe he likes this. Don't question it. Blink twice, though, Simon Crow, if you need rescue, let us know. I mean, we know that there's certain streamers on Twitch who have now adopted the whole human pets and shock collars thing, and no one from Twitch seems to really bat an eye about it. So, hey, you know what? CPW will have one too, I guess. I don't know. But nevertheless, Puppy as Young Lions champion, winning big over Simon Crow. Disco Bunny not going to be happy with that. 3.5 star rating there. Our second match was just a good old-fashioned hardcore division match between Butcher Pete, who's been on a roll lately, winning the match on the show before this in a 4-way, and now defeating Jess Moxie, who's a 3-time hardcore champion in CPW. Just a brutal, violent match on the second match. 3.5 match star rating there. And I would feel like Butcher Pete probably is in the driver's seat to be next in line to get a hardcore title shot against Jin Von Lee. Just the way his streak has been going on this show and the show before. So we'll see if that actually happens, if Butcher Pete is #1 contender for the hardcore title right now for Jin Von Lee. Third match in the night saw Mr. Coke and Roxas defeating Morzol and Mr. Cantot. And this was kind of a shocker. It's a 5-star match. But we saw Mr. Coke for the first time since losing the Baby Rage match to the big one against Spike Ryan. He came out here in wearing the Baby Rage mask and teaming with Roxas. You'd think that the partnership would not have lasted, but as such in the way of Coke and Roxas, that's on again and off again. And I guess they just put their differences aside on this night to actually get a big win, very big win for them, despite their differences, beating the World Tag Team Champions, Morzal and Mr. Cantot, non-title for a 5-star match. And we had really not a lot of commotion going on between Coke and Roxas. I was really shocked at how well they worked together, despite Mr. Coke basically blaming Roxas for him having to wear this baby mask for the whole month of May. They collabed and worked together quite well here. I guess they just put their differences aside and realized that if we can win this match, it might get us up in the tag ranks, back in contention again. And they certainly did it. They pulled it off against the very slippery Morzal and Cantot. So big, impressive win there. But as we all know from the history of Coke and Roxas, the calm tides never seem to last very long. So it's only a matter of time before something else, the Coke Rage trademark, happens. Our fourth match tonight saw Grem defeating RAJI, and I feel like this match was a result of the comments that took place on last episode's Toad Talk podcast, where, and if you hear a dog barking in the background, that's Deputy Dog. He wasn't booked on the show last Tuesday, so he's a little upset. But the Grem versus RAJI match, our fourth match of the night, was a result of, I believe, Raji's telling us on last week's episode, that he didn't care about Grem or Wizard Boz, and that he really wanted to fight them both. So he got exactly what he wanted, and that was a match between Grem and RAJI, 3-star match. And so, yeah, I think it was even mentioned that they were co-hosts of the the Toad Talk podcast. I just combined 2 shows in one there. But yeah, Grem defeating RAJI for a 3-star match. Of course, 2 former world champions, 2 main eventers in the CPW main event caliber match there. But Grem won on that night, and I'll open it up to the floor for both of my co-hosts to speak about any of this once we get through the rest of the results. But next match was the Titans defeating Connie in a 2-on-1 match. Of course, the Titans, former tag team champions, and Connie being under the contract of having to do what Aiden Gallagher says for the entire month of May after he defeated Linky at the big one for the ownership, basically, of Connie. But the Titans made short work of Connie here, despite her magical powers and her reputation of being like one of the most OP characters on the show. The Welsh Mosher and Anubis Khan did what they always do, and that's just slaughter. And that's what they did. And Aiden Gallagher was at ringside to watch this happen the entire time with a smile on his face. So he did this by design. He did this on purpose, and he probably actually requested this match just to rub it into Linky's face a little bit more, that Connie has to do whatever he says for the next month. And that even means getting slaughtered by the Titans. Next match saw Ryan Matthews defeating Mike Metal in a singles match. Of course, Ryan Matthews is our current reigning Money in the Bank briefcase holder. He can cash in on any title anytime he wants, and he's been showing himself a lot here lately. He was in a featured bout last Tuesday, and now he's back again here with a win over Mike Metal. And the reason for this is there was a lot of commotion on the outside of the ring. Of course, Mike Metal survived that 2-on-1 assault by Azarain and Miles Wildmore in the backstage area. And so he had a lot of things to say about them two, and overcame those odds by surviving that ambush in the backstage area. But as a result of that, Azarain, Miles, and Alessandra all came out to get a first-hand look at this match. And really, Azarain was very hands-on, bringing weapons into the match and just distracting Mike Metal. And there was just a lot of noise. This was not your typical one-on-one match, and it really left it open for Ryan Matthews to just easily get the win over Mike Metal. So those Dastardly Clowns, while they were turned away in that 2-on-1 ambush the week before, they certainly got their payback in here on Mike Metal, costing him this match against Ryan Matthews. The next match saw Rogue defeating Spike Ryan in a 4-star match. Spike Ryan having a little bit of a losing streak here ever since beating Coke at the big one in that Baby Rage mask. Spike Ryan losing to Maggie Moore the week before, and now losing to Rogue here. And it was just basically a typical one-on-one match. There wasn't really any kind of noise happening, but it was just basically a chance to see if Spike Ryan can hang with Rogue. And on this night, he could not, losing to Rogue in this one-on-one match. And I think the bigger news was what the reaction was of Spike Ryan after he lost the match, as compared to what the match was. After the match, he was very, how you put it, just really upset, very almost taking it out on the referee, the fans, and I'm not really sure where this attitude and change of attitude is coming from, because he should be riding high after what he did to Mr. Coke at the big one. But it looks like he's having a little bit of an identity crisis here. And after losing to Maggie Moore the week before, and now losing to Rogue, it's not looking good for him. Hopefully he can come back and try to overcome this losing streak that he now has. The next match after that saw our Kappa title match for the week. It was Zozakin, two-time champion of the holder of the Kappa championship, defeating Kitten, his challenger for the week, and Kitten coming in to try to get her first title belt in CPW, and she actually pulled it off. Kitten coming in and winning her first title belt in CPW since coming here, and putting Zozakin away in a 4-star match for the Kappa Championship. Congrats to Kitten on winning and holding her first belt since coming here to CPW. And now the question remains, is Zozakin going to try to come back for that belt again? Or is he going to focus on other things now? We'll have to see. But for right now, Kitten is the champion, and she's got to get ready to defend her brand new title this upcoming Tuesday. And who her challenger will be, nobody knows. Coming up after that, we had Helldiver Zach defeating Monica Wake in a singles match, 3.5 match star rating. This took place after an awesome raid from Monica Denizen. So Monica Wake, of course, in a match as part of that raid. But it turned out to be Helldiver Zach just winning one over. This was just a standard singles match, nothing really implied, just two people having a match against each other, and Helldiver Zach ended up walking out the winner on this night. After that, we had tag team action. We saw two members of the Coke Syndicate, Sneaky Sean and Agent CS, teaming up together to take on Cirabella and Miss Perfection. This was a 5-star match. It was also set for hardcore rules. Obviously, Sneaky Sean and Agent CS, no strangers to the hardcore division in CPW, as well as Cirabella, who Miss Perfection is basically grooming to be like the next big giant thing in the CPW hardcore division. And under her leadership and mentorship, she's trying to get Cirabella up as newcomer, rookie to the wrestling world. And the veteran Miss Perfection trying her best, but just couldn't get really anything going here against the two very more experienced hardcore competitors. And so Sneaky Sean and Agent CS picking up the win in tag action there. Our next match had was a 6-women's tag match, and this was an awesome match. I love to see this. This was really amazing to see. It is basically like a who's who of the very top of the women's division in CPW for the most part. It was just a really great match to witness. And so we had the Blood Triangle, Asterial, Jin Von Lee, and Vampy teaming up together, which they haven't done a whole lot, to be honest. The Blood Triangle, we haven't seen them in a whole lot of matches where all three of them are together. So that was just awesome in itself to see. But they took on a very impressive trio of Celestia, Lucinda, and Chalk. Of course, Celestia was our first ever CPW women's champion ever. Lucinda's right up there at the top of the ranks, and Chalk has already got a singles win over Asterial back on the Twitch front page stream. So all three of them were very viable candidates to face off against the Blood Triangle and Asterial, and it was a really awesome match. I loved watching this match. Regrettably, it was only a 4-star match. I feel like it should have been more of a 5-star match, but nevertheless, great showing from the women's side of things in CPW. We have such a strong women's roster in CPW, and I love to see it. Next match saw AJ Jacobs defeating Queen Savi in a no disqualification match. It was only 2.5 stars. It didn't last very long at all. This was because Queen Savi assaulted AJ Jacobs the week before, right as the match was going to start, and the match was thrown out. And so AJ Jacobs wanted a rematch to get his hands on Queen Savi, who is only in our 3rd match in CPW here. And so the no disqualification match only lasted a few minutes. I'm not really sure what happened. AJ just hammered away and got the win there. Not really sure what else to say about that. Queen Savi I don't know if she was just like too wrapped up in her own ego in this match and kind of underestimated AJ Jacobs after what she did to him last Tuesday, but it didn't look like she was prepared or ready for this match. So she just got taken out pretty easily here by AJ Jacobs. So there you go. And then our semi-main event of the evening saw Wizard Boss taking on Rock Hard Meat. This was, again, just kind of a one-on-one match to kind of test each other's abilities. Obviously, Wizard Boss, former world champion. Rock Hard Meat, now a 2-time international champion and current reigning international title holder. But Boss picking up a non-title win over the champion. anytime someone gets a non-title win over a current champion, that always means something. So Wizard Boz might be possibly looking at that international title now, maybe taking a trip over there to those lands to meet up with the Rock Harded one. But he did get a win here tonight in singles action over Rock Hard Meat in the semi-main event, 3-star match rating. And then we'll wrap things up with our main event of the evening. It was Psycho T, Spinny, and Cassidy Ryan in a 3-way match. Of course, Spinny is our current reigning world champion. Psycho T is the person she won the title from. And then Cassidy Ryan was the champion before Psycho T. So we had the current champion and then the 2 previous in order champions all in the same match, three-way match. This was almost like a pay-per-view main event match. I know that the old joke is, wow, they gave it away on free on television. Well, I think they kind of gave it away free on Twitch here, Psycho T, Spinny, and Cassidy Ryan, because this could have definitely been a main event of our May pay-per-view for sure. But Psycho T, the previous champion, getting the win over Spinny, the world champion, and Cassidy Ryan, at least on this night, standing tall and laughing with the claw in his hand. He actually successfully stole the soul of Cassidy Ryan. He didn't get all of it, but he certainly did some damage to him there in the match. Didn't quite fully bring him into the nightmare realm, but almost did. But Psycho T riding high as the show comes to an end, laughing, Psycho T on top of the world. And that is your CPW report for this week's podcast. We have the Go Home show coming up on Tuesday before the unnamed vacant pay-per-view that we have here in May. We didn't have one last year because I was away on a trip to Detroit to be interviewed for the Tornado show. So we actually did not have a CPW on the last week of May last year. So this will be a first time ever May pay-per-view, or PLE, whatever you want to call it, for CPW. And we still don't know the name of it. However, we do know that one match will be taking place, and that is Leo Reigns versus Barry Bones to establish the Iron Knuckle Championship. So that in itself is a big time match, at least one match right now on the card. But also throughout the night, I also wanted to point out, and then I'll pass it to Grem for any comments, but we also had in the kind of the vignette part of the show, we also saw Sean the Show on the movie premiere at the world famous Chinese Theater in LA for the world premiere of Mortal Kombat 2, signing autographs and being out there. And that kind of explains where Sean the Show Brother has been, with the success of Mortal Kombat 2 in theaters right now, soaking in the Hollywood life. And then we also saw the adventures of Peking with Skippy the Scout. And this time we saw Paul Bearer, John Chaos, and Gumby Vince along with him on this journey. And that's quite the trifecta right there in itself. But we'll be getting part 2 of that adventure this Tuesday. It was a 2-parter. And so far they made it 3 biomes in. So we'll see if they can actually make it to the top of the peak and actually peak together on this week's show. And then I was trying to remember what else we had in terms of vignettes for CPW. We had Linky and that's right. We had a shot of Linky in contemplation back in Hyrule, thinking about what Connie is having to be put through right now by Aiden Gallagher. And he was just in contemplation at the top of the Death Mountain, looking out, overlooking the Kakariko village in Hyrule right now, and saying that he's going to go back to training to come back to CPW to teach Aiden Gallagher a lesson once and for all once he returns. But yeah, that is your CPW report for this week's podcast, and I'll pass it over to Grem for any kind of second thoughts here about what he thinks about the show or anything that stood out.
Yeah, I had I was gonna tell Raji, hey, GG, it was a great match and everything, but he actually sent me a message, and I'll just officially read it. He said, dearest Grem, you are the better man. You totally kicked my booty, and I don't want to fight you anymore. I'm sorry for everything that I've said about you in the past and the present. And he's like totally just convinced that I, Grem, am the better wrestler now. So I'm just, like I said, he left me that message. I'm just reading it out loud so that all CPW can hear that Raji is conceding, and it's totally fine. It happens. It's not the end of the world, but on a more serious note, yeah, the show was pretty solid. Like you said, the main event was kind of given away for free. But hey, when you have a main event like that and you see how great that match is, you just only hope that they can make it better at the at vacancy. So, other than that, my match of the night actually goes to Kitten versus Ozokin. I feel like that one was a really that type of title, thanks to Zozo, has really shined. And for Kitten win her first title in CPW, and she's been around in CPW for a good while too. Very awesome match. I enjoyed watching it and kind of interested to see what's next for both Kitten and Zozokin, like you said. So that was my match of the night. Everything is really, really kind of shaping up for the unnamed pay-per-view. So hopefully maybe Tuesday we'll actually have a name. Yeah, vacancy. But hopefully maybe Tuesday we'll have a name for it and a couple more matches announced too, because like you alluded to, it's just one right now with Leo Reigns and Barry Bones, and that's gonna be a fun little match too. But like we're pretty much there. We need a lot more matches to be announced on Tuesday. I think everyone in CPW is very, very ready and hungry to figure out if they're even going to be on the card.
Yeah. I feel like this go home show this week is really going to have to cram in some details on the card, because right now we can probably speculate and guess as to what's going to happen for each match, but we don't really have anything concrete right now. So this show this upcoming week is really going to have to hammer it in.
A lot of title matches too that still are kind of up in the air and question marks, and that's basically what CPW is all about, is the titles. So and then also before we wrap up on CPW, real quickly, because I know your segment's coming up, and then that's pretty much it. Real quick, the NBA Game 7, Cavaliers beating the Detroit Pistons 125-94. The number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference is down, and it is now the Cleveland Cavaliers, taking on the New York Knicks. And also, I'm surprised you did not bring this up when we were talking about NBA, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is named MVP for the second consecutive season. And a little interesting note, because I know Raji likes to put this here, every retired player to win consecutive MVPs have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. That list include Steve Nash, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Moses Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, and Bill Russell. What a great list of names to be a part of. So congratulations to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for winning the MVP 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I was going to say, what a great list of names to be attached to. Man.
Yeah, that's really, really big. And also, I mean, he's done it too before the age of 28. Like, that's also insane. Like, even I think Michael Jordan's done it as well. So there's a lot to be proud of, and a lot to see from this kid. And it's just amazing that he's taken off as he's done. He's in the right place at the right time. It almost is that Stephen Curry effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got such a future ahead of him. He's only getting started.
Yep.
All right, well, that'll wrap up the CPW report. Let's talk about the Croakitoad stream team, or as I've been trying to rename it, Team Toad. This is about all of you, fellow streamers here on Twitch, who are part of the Croakitoad stream team on Twitch. And we're going to talk about everything that you've been streaming and everything you all have been playing here lately as we take a look and see. We'll just start from the top of the list here. It looks like our good friend here on the panel, who I guess had a bathroom break and is no longer with us, the Razorback Hitman, playing just about everything in his Steam library, it looks like. American Truck Sim, Contractville, Fast Food Sim, The Bus, Derail Valley, Cura Hospital Sim, Console Store Sim, Cozy Game Restoration, Gamble with Your Friends. Well, maybe that's where he went for the last of this podcast. He went to go play the rest of his Steam library.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we had Roxas997, who's been playing some Infamous 2. Over on his stream, we had Hype 9/11/2004, and all of these are Twitch names, by the way. These are all people from our official Twitch team as part of the Croakitoad banner for being a Twitch partner. Hype playing some Overwatch, NASCAR, and Peak. Sounds like our multiplayer night. He was streaming along with us. Then we had Lucinda, who is definitely knee deep in a Watch Dogs state of mind right now. I know she finally got through with Watch Dogs. I think we talked about that in last week's episode. She finally finished Watch Dogs, and I know she's not the bastion of like playing DLCs. She in fact really does not like DLCs. So I'm curious if she actually played the Watch Dogs DLC or not. Because a lot of these older I say older games, a lot of these games have been out a long time now. When you buy them, they come just prepackaged with the DLC anyway, like Game of the Year edition or whatever. So that'd be a question for Lucinda if you are listening to this, which I'm sure you will be. Did you actually play the Watch Dogs DLC? That's a question for you. But no, I was in her stream, I believe yesterday at the time of this recording, seeing her play Watch Dogs 2. So I know she's on this Watch Dogs kick right now. And I think there was one other Watch Dogs out. I think there's 3 total. So yeah, I need to play Watch Dogs 2. I have never played it. Then we had RE Kitten 137, who is playing Core Keeper, Schedule 1, Resident Requiem, and Tower Unite. And she was, I think she's streaming right now, as a matter of fact. And she was streaming last night. Always playing those multiplayer games there and joining us for Peak. Always a good time. Then we had Feet Speeds Games, who is playing Apocalypse. That's the old PS1 game that was apparently redeemed to him, just much like Lucinda in her community redeemed for her to play Watch Dogs. Feats was redeemed for him to play Apocalypse by his community. And I watched him fight the final boss of that game on his stream. And oh my God, that was terrible. And he nerfed the difficulty down to easy and was still having to save state and was getting... I've never heard Feats get so upset streaming before, to be honest. Like, he was actually getting kind of ragey about it, and I've never heard him in that tone of voice or manner before, so I know it was getting to him, and it looked terrible. So did you ever finish that game, Feats? I'm wondering that, because I had to leave before you could actually beat it, but man, it looked painful when I was there. But obviously, Feats also playing some Dino Crisis, always on that speedrun grind to get himself up on that PB speedrun leaderboard, and Wild 9 as well. Then we had Puerto Rican Chipmunk playing some Resident Evil 2 Remake and Kingdom Hearts. She's been really diving into that Resident Evil. Love to see it. Then we had Jin Von Lee, who's playing some games and demos, but of course we know she was playing Peak. And that will lead us into our very last segment of this podcast, because it is relevant to that. But yeah, Jin Von Lee always playing some Peak, and played a series of other games as well, indie games and horror games and stuff, but games and demos. Then we had the Chain TV playing a Yuden Chronicle, 100 Heroes, and Tomodachi Life. And we actually raided Chain last night for a stream, who was playing a Yuden Chronicle. I'm probably butchering that name. I've never played those games before, but I really like to. But yeah. Then we had Puddle Duck 22, otherwise known as Buttons, who came back to streaming. We haven't seen her streaming in a long time. She was also on that Resident Evil Requiem grind, so that's cool to see. Welcome back to the Twitch. Welcome back to Twitch, Mama Buttons. Good to see you back. We had Necromenon, who was playing some of that Cult of the Lamb. You know, that actually is the most fitting username plus game I think I could ever see, is Necro playing Cult of the Lamb. That's great. I love that. Hopefully your cult is growing by the numbers, Necro, and you're having a good time with that. That's a really fun game, especially with the Twitch integration. Then we had Monica Denizen, who was playing some Phasmo, and that's really on par because of the Alan Wake plus Phasmo event that is currently ongoing, the collaboration, which we covered on last week's podcast, by the way. And I have yet to try it out. I really needed to get on that. We were going to do it. But then Phasmo came out with that update that made my eyes hurt because of the POV. And I was like, man, I can't really play this right now. And then come to find out, there was a lot of people really unhappy with the update to that Phasmo. And then I guess they put out an update for that update, and now things are better-ish now. I have not had a chance to get back on there again, but I would really like to try out that Alan Wake collaboration. But I know Monica had a lot of good things to say about it, and she's been having a blast playing that. Then we had Urkamis, who was playing some Dark Souls Together Moon Escape. And this is a game he was actually telling me about the other day when we were both playing with Jin Von Lee on Peak. He was actually we were actually standing next to each other on Peak, and I could see his little peaky little mouth flapping up and down while he was telling me about Together Moon Escape that he was playing and trying to convince me to play it. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I actually wish listed it and everything because it actually does sound like fun and I want to try it. So thank you, Urkamus, for that suggestion there on that. And then also playing some Resident Evil Requiem. Then we have Patrick's Raider, who's playing some Fur Squadron Phoenix. Never heard of that one. Then some Resident Evil 7, some Resident Evil 4, and Tomba. That is quite the hodgepodge of games there. Wouldn't expect anything less from Patrick's Raider. Then we had Zozakin, who was playing more of the Archipelago Challenge. And then, of course, the Sheeran the Wanderer franchise. Yes. You know, if they ever came out with, like, who plays Sheeran the Wanderer on Twitch, Zozakin has to be the guy. He's got to be the spokesperson. You know, I wouldn't say gatekeeper because that's kind of a negative thing, but Zozakin has to be the guy when it comes to Sheeran the Wanderer on Twitch. I mean, let's be honest. Then we had Agatha, who's playing some Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Always fun. Agatha streams always a lot of fun, especially when she really gets into it with the cosplay and stuff. Lately, she's been doing more VTubing kind of thing instead of webcam, and that's cool too. But I've always been a fan of Agatha's cosplays on the games she plays. She always does an awesome job. Queen Savi was playing some TRLEs. Not sure which ones, but there's certainly a lot of them out there to play. That's for sure. I actually, funny story about TRLEs. Actually, hold on. Let me real quick while we're talking about this. Let me bring up my website, Croakitoad.com. By the way, cheap plug. If you go there, there's a drop down for the TRLEs that I have played. I have a dedicated page for it, and this is the reason I'm bring this up. Is that I have actually played 56 different TRLEs. And they are all cataloged on my website. Sorry, I got a piece of rice in my throat. Been trying to eat dinner while we do this podcast, but yeah, I've done 56 TRLEs, which is nothing. Only scrapes a little bit of dust off compared to some of what these other people, how many they've played, but I'm proud of that. But yeah, Queen Savi playing some TRLEs. Then we had Burnsy playing Agent 64, Spies Never Die, and then Retro Gaming. Mic back here. Okay, there we go. I tried to mute my mic because I was coughing because I have a piece of rice stuck in my throat when it come back on. But yeah, I bet you're like, where'd he go?
Yeah, I was kind of like, okay, did that rice win?
It almost did. All right, then we have Scorpios playing DayZ. It's kind of par for the course for him, playing those multiplayer games with his mates. Then we had Disco Bunny playing some Metro 2033 Redux. We had her playing Cthulhu, the Cosmic Abyss. Project Songbird, Moon Mystery, The Occultist, Will, Follow the Light, Aphelion, Pragmata, Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma. Holy moly, was she just going through her whole Steam library or what? Lots of streams from Disco Bunny. Lots of newer games, lots of like kind of horror / FPS / kind of suspense games. That's kind of what she likes to go with. Some of these games I really need to play because I recognize some of these names on here. Yeah, Disco Bunny hitting it hard on those streaming this past week. Then we had Q the Stupidity, who was playing some Tomb Raider 1 Remake and Super Paper Mario. Very nice. Like that little combination there. That sounds nice. That sounds lovely. Tomb Raider and Paper Mario. Then we had Liz the Lefty, who is playing some Ground Zero, featuring our good friend OG Brad Vickers as a character and voice work on the game. I cannot wait to play Ground Zero. Oh man, can I not wait to play it. But yeah, Liz, I hope you're having a good time with it. I haven't heard of anyone beating the game yet out there. I've seen a lot of people play it. I think everyone's still in the process of getting through it, but I've not actually heard news of anyone completing it yet. So if anyone out there listening has actually beaten Ground Zero, let us know. Let me know in the comments. Did you like it? Was everything you anticipated? You don't have to be nice for Evan's sake. Give your honest opinion about it. Because I have not touched it yet. I did play the full demo and finish the demo, but I'm really looking forward to playing the game and would like to know what your thoughts are about Ground Zero. And then JoJo Spud 247 was playing some Last of Us 2. Good to see her back. She took a little hiatus due to Mother's Day weekend, but now back playing some Last of Us 2. Lilu Horrors, one of our newest members of the stream team, playing some Burglin Gnomes in Resident Evil 4 Remake. And then our most recent addition to the Croakitoad stream team, Team Toad on Twitch, was Atomic Bomb. Let me make sure I get his digits correct. I think it's 1980. It is 1980. Atomic Bomb 1980 was... Okay, skip that. Playing some Okami HD, Elden Ring, Halo Infinite, and Suicide Squad. So nice little library of games there as well for Atomic Bomb. Shout out to him as well. And to anyone that was streaming throughout the week, keep on plugging away, keep on streaming, keep on doing what you do. I love giving shout outs to all of you guys, part of the Team Toad, and kind of giving updates. And I try to, if you're listening to this and you see in the stream team that I'm like, hey, what are you doing? What are your plans for the weekend? Please post it up, because I would love to kind of go into like a brief small little biography about what all of you are doing, kind of spread the word out there and get the names of your Twitch channel out there here on our podcasts on different kind of media fronts here each week.
Hey, I stream too.
Oh, did he not put
you? Put none.
Put none? Was that for this? Because he's got this one for this last week, and then this one is for this Sunday. Did you stream last?
I streamed yesterday and the day before.
Oh, well, that will be on this Sundays. Yeah, I'm reading off from the previous week here.
I thought it was this week. My bad.
So let's see if
spoiler alert.
There you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got you. So you'll get a shout out on Sunday.
Neat.
Yeah.
All right. Spoiler alert. All right.
Yeah. I'm 1 week back on this. So,
I got you now.
Yeah. But yeah, you'll get your flowers next episode. Don't worry. All right, but that's it. Talking about all of you team members, keep on plugging away, keep on streaming, keep on doing what you do. And if you have any goals or inspirations, milestones that you want to do, maybe it's a follower goal that you want to do, maybe a sub goal, maybe it's a certain video game, maybe it's a number of video games that you're trying to get a completion for, maybe some achievements, trophies, platinums. Let us know in the comments. Let us know. I would love to talk about that and kind of dive a little bit deeper into what your personal gaming journeys are. This segment is dedicated to you each week here on the podcast, and it's like me kind of spreading the love back to all of you guys. So if you want to dive a little bit deeper and let me know kind of a brief synopsis of what you're up to and what you're doing, rather than just, I'm just playing this, then hit me up. Don't be afraid to kind of dive a little deeper into it, because I'd love to talk about it here on the podcast. But yeah, that'll leave us to one last thing to do, and that is to reveal this week's streamer of the week. And this week's streamer of the week, we're going to reveal it here. As soon as I pull this up here, where is it? God, that rice is winning right now. I'm trying to find it. He put them in a different order. Dang it. Where is it? Okay, I don't see her on this list. Okay. Oh no, there she is. Okay. So this week's streamer of the week, sorry for that brief delay. I was just making you wait and sweat it out. But we're going to announce that this week's streamer of the week for the Team Toad Croakitoad stream team is Puerto Rican Chipmunk. Hand clap SFX playing. Yay. Yay. So Maggie, as we know Puerto Rican Chipmunk on Twitch we also know her as Maggie, who's been playing a lot of stuff lately. Resident Evil 2 Remake, here more recently, but also last week, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Kingdom Hearts, and just kind of plays a bunch of different multiplayer as well. She loves Power Wash Simulator. She loves playing that. She loves doing Peak. She does actually solo runs of Peak as well, which is quite impressive. When you think of Peak, you always think, okay, me and my friends. You don't ever really think, okay, I'm by myself. But she does that. And she's been streaming a lot here lately, being a lot more active, getting her stream going. So we want to recognize that. So congratulations to Puerto Rican Chipmunk on being this week's streamer of the week. And with that being said, is our final segment for this week's podcast. And I just looked over the time and we broke 3 hours again. Dang it. I was really looking for sub 230.
It was funny because I'm like, I wasn't timing, and I'm like looking at the time, and I'm like, oh man, we really didn't do it under sub 3.
I wanted sub 230. That's why I was like trying to like rush there in the middle. But
yeah. All right. Well, next week we have a
next
goal.
week. Yeah. But all right, we'll end it here because I know you guys are tired of listening to me and us rant here for at least this week. But we're going to end it off with this week's clip of the week, which actually is a little bit of a change. I think a lot of people probably figured clip of the week comes from streamer of the week, but that's not necessarily the case. We just like to showcase why streamer of the week is streamer of the week, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the two have to be from the same person. But this week we're going to show off a clip that took place on yesterday, which was May 16th during a stream. And it's a clip from Jen Von Lee, who's playing Peak with a lot of us, myself included. Monica Denizen was in there. Regeki was in there. Urkamus, OG Brad Vickers, although he had left before this. So a lot of familiar names in there playing with Jen Von Lee on Peak multiplayer. But this clip comes from her stream from yesterday, and it is kind of blown up on her social media on Instagram. So many likes on this, but we'll play it here to end off our podcast. Here you go. Here's Jen Von Lee playing Peak, and you might recognize a character. In the lava.
What?
Yeah,
I jumped also, Croaky jumped into the lava before I did. And we both just died.
Why would you do that?
Because I didn't know where to go.
I was enjoying the hot tub.
Okay. There you go. Get in the hole.
Oh shit! Well, there you go. I don't think any other comment is really necessary to add to that. That's just me getting Sparta kicked completely off the top of the peak and flying all the way down. And I actually landed in the lava at the very bottom, by the way. You can't see that happening to me because obviously it's Jen Von Lee's POV at the very top. But yeah, that kicked me all the way back down to the very bottom of the base. And then, yeah. So yeah, funny clip, lots of laughs. Glad I could be get people to laugh a little bit. That's what it's all about, being entertaining, laughing at yourself. And it was well deserved because I had actually kicked her on the level before that and sent her flying into the lava too. So I guess it was fair play. All's fair in love and war, I guess, especially in Peak when you have the kick feature on. But yeah, that's a little shout out to Jen Von Lee. And also congratulations again to this week's Streamer of the Week, Puerto Rican Chipmunk. Thank you all for watching again. And if you liked what you heard, please feel free to reply in the comments with any kind of feedback that you'd like to add in. I know the length is still up there. We're trying to get that down. I really thought we were going to be sub 230 on this one, but it is what it is. We're working on that. But if you have any other advice, comments, suggestions, or things you would like for us to talk about or have a conversation about on next week's episode, please feel free to reply back in the comments or in our Discord server. And make sure to enter that giveaway for Star Fox. The new giveaway is for Star Fox. So go back and listen to the giveaway details on entering that. That's going to be awesome. And I actually might enter that myself. But yeah, have a good one, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for listening once again. And we'll see you on the twitch.tv Croakitoad, or we'll see you here on YouTube. And by the way, this YouTube, if you're listening on YouTube, I am completely revamping my YouTube and trying to put all my eggs into the basket on YouTube right now. So you can expect a lot of new YouTube content and stuff coming your way from Croakitoad. So really appreciate everyone that's subbed to me on YouTube and has been supporting me there on that project. So thank you very much on that. And but yeah, we'll see you next Sunday for episode 12. Does Grem, you got anything else to add, or is that it?
Just as always, stay radical and stay radical to each other. Thanks for another fun time on the podcast.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.